What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome to another edition of FanTracks, coming to you from fanboysanonymous.com. I am your host, Tony Mango, and joining me on the panel for this episode, I've got Chris Cheng.
Hello.
And Joseph Stallman.
Hi.
And today, our FanTracks podcast is going to be an audio commentary track for Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. If you have never listened to a FanTracks before, or for that matter, an audio commentary, then I shouldn't be spending too much time breaking down what it is, but it's pretty simple. We have the movie that we're going to be playing at the same time while we watch it together, and you guys can do the same. We're going to give you a countdown of 3, 2, 1, play, and that's when you're going to actually be able to play the movie. It's going to start up with the Lucasfilm logo. We're going to bypass any kind of like FBI warnings or Blu-ray menus and stuff. The Blu-ray just came out, so hopefully you're checking it out on that. We may or may not necessarily be doing the same thing, but you can check out a stream, you can check out whatever version is, as long as it has the 2 hour and 18 minute or so same runtime and whatnot, you should be fine, as long as you hit play the same time that we do, and I'll give you some kind of updates throughout of like, you know, the ba-da is exactly the point where you should hear it and that kind of stuff. But if you're a second behind, it's not going to matter all that much. But what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of bullshit around like as if you were watching this with us and we were all just a couple of friends hanging out, drinking some beers, eating some pizza, and watching a movie. Obviously, none of us worked on the film, unless any of us are like the, you know, Stormtrooper 8 who walks around in the background or something like that.
Chris, we know it was you, bro.
Yeah,
You're totally Leia in this movie, aren't you?
Yeah, man. I had it well.
I think you did a better job acting in this movie than she did, at the very least.
Yeah, you play a great corpse. Awesome.
So we're just going to crack some jokes and stuff like that, and hopefully you guys will have a lot of fun. So, again, it'll be 3, 2, 1, play. That's when you hit it. Pretty simple. And we're going to do that right now. 3, 2, 1, play.
I'm going to be honest real quick. You can't be saying now and things when you're when you're ready to start something. I kept, like, when you said earlier you counted down, I pressed play immediately, and I was like, oh.
So right now I have the A Long Time Ago in a Galaxy Far, Far Away and Star Wars up on the screen.
Did you guys have that experience in the theaters where everyone started clapping when they saw that?
Oh, immediately. Did you guys get goosebumps too before it happened?
Oh, definitely.
I did.
I saw it in the Alamo, so it's like a nice, cool setting. Great. They do some really good previews before it, like old school, like previews for the originals. It's good stuff.
Did you get the one about the phone call with the lady complaining?
I don't know.
I don't remember that one. See, I saw it at the Tropicana IMAX, and all the commercials that they showed ahead of time were for the Tropicana IMAX, and it was like, we're already in here.
Oh. Yeah, local theaters do that a lot. I went to the AMC one, so they catered to the Chinese, like, hardcore during that one.
Well, I went to an AMC show.
I don't know how they cater to the Chinese. Like, what's the difference?
It's like a lot more products for, like, that's made in China. And it's like more subtle things that's like, oh, you should travel like China Air. Or like, no, I don't want to get missing in the mountains or whatever.
Nice.
So before this fades away, let's talk about this opening crawl. What were you guys thinking when it first popped up and it was just Luke Skywalker has vanished?
That is the worst writing at the end. It's like, they got really creative at the beginning, and at the end, it's like a different guy is like, and they added that paragraph. It's like, who wrote that?
Yeah,
it's not as bad as the episode 3 one, though, where it just goes, war!
Yeah.
I think that was supposed to be more of like a nod to like World War II.
The serialized kind of things.
Yeah, I think that was a...
Yeah, but it's cheesy as fuck.
Yeah.
Because it's like, unlike episodes like 3, like 2 and 1, like you kind of know what's going on, but this is new, and it's like not descriptive of what the fuck's going on at all.
Right. I like how the new ships have crucifixes on the front of them.
Little. It's the extra Kylo Ren lightsaber.
I do think how the way they flipped it, where like in the originals, it's that thing going over a moon and like, you know, so you can see around it or whatever. And this one is a shot from it covering the moon, right? To show like how the difference in the size is.
Well, did you guys know that the original rumor going around was that it was supposed to start off with Luke Skywalker's hand and the lightsaber floating through space? And it's like, that would have been ridiculous to see. Like,
yeah.
If you're just used to seeing, you know, like a planet and a spaceship or something, and then it's just like, here's a hand? Like, what? Yeah. That would have taken me out of the movie immediately.
For sure.
But then you get this BB-8 shot, and immediately I'm like, oh, okay, BB-8's fucking adorable.
I really people complained, throughout the movie about like how close it was to the original, and it's like, well, you gotta like suck them in at the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta have that anchor.
Plus, I do like how they start this movie off with, "This will begin to set things right," which is just an apology for the prequels.
Nice.
How's that not part of the opening crawl?
Right.
We are sorry, and it's like
it just says like
this, it'll probably be that.
Star Wars Episode 7: The Force Awakens. Well, Darth Maul was kind of cool, right, guys?
Well, we got Darth Maul out of that.
We had moments.
Darth Maul's back in Star Wars Rebels.
I saw that. I might check it out. I have a hard time getting into that show. My kids love it, but
I don't have kids, so I have to love it for these imaginary kids.
okay.
And you know what? Spoilers, I should say, at the very least. But if you're listening to this and you never saw the movie, and what the fuck's wrong with you? But they kill off Max von Sydow so quick that was a shock.
Yeah,
for me.
it's like he survived singing children and Nazis and Sound of Music, and this is what kills him.
Like, I was expecting this dude to be like a big part of this movie. They made a big deal. Like,
Dude, that guy survived Judge Dredd. All right, like his career was still okay after that. He'll do fine.
Like, by this point in the movie, and just another update, you should be checking out Poe Dameron climbing into the X-Wing right now. I was expecting him to get captured and for them to try to, like, we have to find him too, like, something. And instead it's just kind of like, nope, old dude's dead. Like, damn, man,
No, they were very straightforward with the action.
Yeah.
If they were to delay it, it would have been the same results.
But I do like how this movie, you get a couple different things. A lot of people complain that it's too much like A New Hope, but you do get some, like, vastly different things in this film. Like, we've never seen the stormtroopers act like this before.
No, never been, like, professional.
Where they actually seem like they're badasses and they're, like, torching a village and shit. Like,
fucking doing, like, a Vietnam job here.
One of them walks by with a bunch of ears around its neck. It's like, what the fuck? Jeez, Star Wars, taking it to a new direction, aren't we? That's the Christopher Nolan version.
But the thing is, it's the space future, right? Or the space past, whatever. Flamethrower technology still exists. Even though proven, it's not scientifically, like, great, like, it's a very...
Especially in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
Maybe in the middle of the jungle. This is the worst part. I hate this right here.
Is it bugging you that
it's literally heavy-handed as fuck?
Well, what bugs me about it is he gets shot in the stomach. Why is his hand bleeding?
Lasers? I don't know.
Yeah. The Force. It's all just the Force.
It's the Force.
Well, you can get shot with a round and it hit you in the stomach and come out your elbow. Like it. I don't know how.
That's a bullet, but like this is laser weapons. Like, aren't they like? Don't they like kind of like
explode?
Like seal the wound, kind of like goes through
immediately.
Yeah,
I got shot, but I'm fine.
More so, it kind of explains, or not explains, brings up the idea that, like, what the hell's the armor good for? If one shot can blow you up, like...
Yeah.
They are so vulnerable.
They're even vulnerable to, like, rocks.
Yeah, fucking Ewoks, god damn it.
They get hit by, like, tree stumps and they're fucking dead, so I'm like... Like, that armor is like paper. And it's all for show, I guess.
There he is.
I actually didn't think he'd be here so early. I thought he'd come at the end when I first saw this.
One of my complaints about this movie, though, is that the soundtrack's not up to par. Like,
it's the same soundtrack from all the movies.
Well, the old themes are great, but like Kylo Ren's theme, like
garbage.
Now that I've watched the movie like 4 times, I know what his theme is, but it's not as iconic. Like,
oh no,
the Imperial March, bum 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 bum. Everybody can say that, but Kylo Ren's. If I went, hey guys, what theme is this? Bum 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 bum. Everybody would be like, I don't know.
I remember thinking this immediately, like having this discussion with someone as soon as we got out of the theater. It was like, I don't remember there being a cool song.
Rey's theme is the only one that like stood out to me the first time I saw it, and it sounded more like Lord of the Rings than or Harry Potter than this side. And there goes Max von Sydow.
I didn't even know this guy's name. I had to look it up like as I got home. I was like, who's that guy?
Lor San Tekka, and it's like, oh man, Lor San Tekka died. Whoever the fuck he is.
Yeah, like they make a point to show him, right? And then they barely mention his name, even. You know what I mean? Like if they just, I guess it's one of those they were trying to set up the comics, maybe.
How cool though was it when
probably
Kylo
very
Ren
tomorrow.
just froze that
Yeah.
blaster bolt?
Pretty badass. His voice is great.
Yeah, Mass voice is great.
Yeah. Well, the other one when he's just like, "Oh, he was weak, and I destroyed him." It's like, "Oh, you're just a pussy, dude." Like,
This is pretty cool. A lot of people comment how this conversation was you talk, I talk, and then this we're making fun of him.
Yeah.
It's like this establishing Poe's like character pretty fast.
I'm not gonna lie, he was the one character, like, looking at, like, people, the cast, and I was like, man, I don't know who this guy is, and I already don't like his face. Like, and then I watched it, and I immediately fell in love with him. I'm like, alright, you're a badass. I got it.
I hated his name. Like, the names are, some of them are great. Some of them, I hate the name Kylo Ren, the Knights of the Ren. It's not
I'm
intimidating
starting
enough.
to get used to it.
But Poe Dameron, when I saw that, I'm like, this has to be fake. This character can't be named Poe. Like, what?
Yeah, the only Poe before him was Edgar Allan. So it's like the only Poe I know.
The only Poe I know. That sounds like a terrible rhyme scheme.
Well, see what he did, Edgar Allan Poe. You see what he did there? This guy's on fire right now. Chris, you're killing it.
Man, it's like, why not? Like, take that ship, you know?
Destroy it!
Okay, that was like regular handguns blew up a plane. That was like just rifles that just shot a X-wing.
But you know what? I don't think we've ever seen that before in a Star Wars
No.
movie.
You can't just fucking fire an X-wing. Like, don't you have to be like equivalent of a plane to shoot a plane? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't just take my handgun and shoot an airplane and watch it explode. Like,
Well, unless you're under like, if you're living in like Die Hard logic, you can shoot a plane and it can, or helicopter and it can explode. So
okay.
This is nitpicky, but wouldn't they check it first before they blew the shit
Yeah,
up?
wouldn't they do like, let's like take all the data, see where he's been, anything like that? Like a black box?
yeah, even to check to see if BB-8's still in there.
Yeah.
But I get it, it's just a stormtrooper thing, just rush jobs.
Tell you what though, if you want to nitpick something about this movie, major nitpick, Captain Phasma.
Oh, okay.
What a waste.
Yeah.
Like, that character looked so badass, and they were marketing her as being, like, something actually worth the damn. She's in, like, 45 seconds of the movie, and all she does is surrender.
I think maybe they were trying to do a Boba Fett thing, right?
But you wouldn't do that to a hyped character. They hyped her a lot.
Right.
It's like a woman, she's tall, she's the, in Game of Thrones, and you're like, cool, and then you see, you're like, whoa, like, she probably got paid a lot just to, like, not tell people she's only in it for, like, less than a minute.
Exactly, yeah.
She's all blinged out and everything. Maybe that's what they paid her in. They just paid her in an actual chrome suit.
Here, just keep this.
Yeah.
Now she's got that's how they paid her in Game of Thrones, too. This chick is broke, man.
Yeah. That's why she takes 45-second roles in movies, because she's just like, anything I can do, I'll just take it. She's the one actually that's scavenging the parts in the scene, not Rey.
Yeah.
It's actually Gwendolyn Christie.
Stealing parts from the sets.
That's funny.
So Rey in this introduction, I mean, at this point I was just kind of like, all right, let's see what we get. Eventually I ended up getting a huge crush on this chick, but showing her in this landscape, and it's Jakku and it's not Tatooine, I was just kind of like, all right, so you're like theft version of Luke. You know?
Yeah. I can't disassociate Jakku and Tatooine. They're like the same thing.
They are. They're the same fucking thing.
Super unnecessary that they call this Jakku.
It really should have been Tatooine, because I'm still on the fence about her being Luke's kid. She has to be Luke's kid.
Oh no, I heard something today. You're gonna like this.
It's so many theories. I actually don't like the Skywalker theme. I kind of wish it was someone else's kid.
Here's the theory: is the chick from the new movie, and everybody's complaining, "Oh, you're doing another white British girl." They're saying that could be her mom.
The
actually would be kind of cool.
What, Laura Dern?
Yeah, and that's why they're like so similar. That's why they look the same, and everybody was like, "Why would they pick somebody that looks the exact same?"
So you know what though? They could have Laura Dern be the mom, but she could be a Force ghost.
Yeah,
she's not a Jedi though. The other, well, maybe her
she could be.
mother is. Like
maybe she falls in love with Luke, and that's the whole setup.
Ah,
look at this.
The fucking dodo bird.
She would be way older than Luke though, because Luke's like an 18-year-old pretty boy at that point. And then she's like a 25-year-old. Oh god, actually that makes sense now because like
Anakin age on love.
Yeah, but like Anakin was 12 when she met like a 19-year-old Padme, so that kind of makes sense too.
Well, if Luke is 20, like 22, 23 or something like that, maybe by end of Return of the Jedi, and Rey right now is like, I'm assuming 19, like 18, 19, 20,
like 19, 20. I would say.
Then you got to figure 10 years goes by between Return of the Jedi and when Rey's born.
Yeah.
So Luke would be like 30 something, and if Laura Dern's like,
no, Luke looks super old.
He does. I mean, he's 60, I think.
Yeah. So it's just like oddly explain the timeline.
Well, no, there's 30 years between this and.
Oh, okay, 30. That's true. Also, Simon Pegg. Did not know that was Simon Pegg.
Yeah, that took me a minute.
That was something you had to look up.
Yeah.
Because I thought like
going to be in the movie. Like he's a more important piece.
Because he's like, I'm in Star Wars. Awesome. What are you? I can't tell you. And then it's like you see the movie, you're like, where's Simon Pegg?
Right.
He's playing Luke.
You know, I was gonna admit this earlier. We were talking about Tatooine. So Jabba's palace is on Tatooine, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that, you know how many years? I just realized that like this year, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
I have to admit, this bread looks good.
Did you hear the science behind this? How they actually made that?
Oh, that's not CGI?
No, that was real bread that was like dehydrated, and then all that there's a vacuum that like sucks it up, and then there's a second vacuum that like puffs up the bread.
Oh, nice.
So like that bread was real, but it was like they sucked all the water and then hydrated the bread again.
Huh. That seems like way too much work to do a practical
It was
effect.
it was like 100-something hours of like inventing and tinkering to get that done, and it's like a second went by for that.
How pissed would you be if that's one of the scenes that he cuts out?
Oh my god! That guy would have like fucking killed like J.J. Abrams.
So a lot of people are making the mistake that they think that this helmet is Luke's. It's not, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, like he'll lose a hand, he'll lose like clothes, but he wouldn't lose like a helmet.
Well, it apparently says like some other name or something on the side of it that you got to like really pay attention to. But fucking Tito stealing again.
I didn't get this whole thing he's riding. I thought it was just too much.
It's like a metal camel.
Yeah, it's space camel. Did you know, like, as soon as this came out, like, there was a huge backstory about this guy and Rey?
It's like
showed up.
Typical Star Wars. You see, like, the third dude on the left in the cantina, and it's like, yeah, he was this great spaceship pilot and whatever, and it's like, you don't see that about many other things. There's no Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff going on where it's just kind of like, yeah, that one cop in the Avengers, let's make a whole big one shot of him or whatever.
Yeah, you don't see that. Star Wars is like one of the few franchises where like bullshit things would happen, and it's like a whole world will build around it.
Well, I think it's because you had 40 years or 30 years of like people, nerds, like writing fan fiction for it, right?
True.
Just trying to create that shit, and they didn't have anything else to go on besides those movies.
Yeah, what was in their head? Makes sense.
Yeah.
So this scene was the main one where I went, you know what? BB-8's kind of awesome, but holy shit, is it adorable when it fucking puts its head down and it's just like, but I'm scared. Like, rocking back and forth. It's just like, at that point you go, yeah, I'm adopting you.
But like, here's always thing I was always confused about as growing up is like, how do people speak Android? You know, like, I can only understand Rey. I can't understand the droid. But like, they are like, yeah, this is normal, right? Like, you don't understand this? Like, what the fuck's wrong with me? I don't understand beep boops. Like, you know.
Yeah.
He didn't say boop. He said beep boop.
No, that's why I got it wrong.
What? No. I love this.
He's got that little floating thing, which is like a little bit more menacing looking than the one from A New Hope, which just had a syringe on it.
Yeah.
I think it was awful. And Leia's just like, oh no, a thing that I can very quickly walk away from. So this is like a new force power, basically. It's kind of like an advancement of the Jedi mind trick.
I can't tell if he's reading his mind or if he's like putting like
pressure
in his brain, basically.
Well, no, he can read minds because that reading minds was like a light force thing in the lore. It was like good Jedis can do that, you know, like light users could do that. But dark Jedis couldn't read minds well.
Oh, so like that shows that he used to be a good guy. That makes sense.
Yeah, like it makes more sense that way, but he's using it like wrong.
It's kind of like prying the information out.
Yeah,
so that's why he's like in pain. And here's our first look at not Tarkin.
Yeah. I totally forgot that guy was in Harry Potter, so I was like,
yeah,
oh.
Weasley.
He's one of the twins, right? Or is he one of the ones that's like not the twin?
No, he is one of the twins.
There's like 20 Weasley kids.
I thought there was just they were twins, but it was the same person. I thought.
Was he?
I don't know. Making stuff up.
Well, there's Ron, and then there's another one, and then there's the twins, and then there's like another one or something. I don't know. Fuck those movies.
Bunch of ginger kids. All right, so I couldn't get the economy here. So they scrap metal things for bread, right? Because that's what they paid them in.
For food, I guess.
Yeah, right?
for portions. 60 portions. It's like, dude, that's a lot of portions.
That's a lot of Wonder Bread you can make at home. But like,
you know, it made me realize him doing that voice reminds me of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And then I wonder
the bureaucrats, right?
Yeah, I wonder if he does one of the voices for those. Because it sounds just like it.
But it's heavily CG. It does not sound like Simon Pegg at all.
Yeah.
Like, just listen to it carefully. It's like, synthesizes shit.
Also, why am I wearing a shield on my chest when I'm a merchant?
If you get that droid, I will give you 50 portions.
And I'm kind of thinking, like...
75 portions.
She's only, like, 4 steps away. She could have heard that. She could have turned around and been like, what?
Yeah, and he's like, I mean, here are some portions, young girl, that I am not going to steal from.
This is the greatest character in the movie.
Easily, Finn is the fucking man.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are a lot of people that are talking about what if they are a couple in the next movie, and it's like, look, they've got a bromance, not a romance.
I know, but Disney would never allow that. It's like way too progressive.
Now, they'll have gay characters, but it's not going to be these two.
They're progressive enough to have a black guy be like third fiddle.
Yeah,
but they're not progressive enough to have that black guy having sex with second fiddle.
You could have so many in that checklist, but that's not going to happen.
Well, they're just going to have another scene where Finn is added into the scene of Ex Machina, where General Hux and Poe are like in that whole nightclub thing.
Oh my god!
Finn will be added in there, and he'll be dancing with Poe. Now, I was talking about how I hate the name Poe. I really like the name Finn, how they come to that with the FN 2187.
I thought the acting in this scene was weird.
Really?
I dug it. It's a little
it's very
like 1950s. Like
oh hey, it's the kid from a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Narnia, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Really?
Yep.
He's in
Wait, is that the kid from Maze Runner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn, well he's better than...
You know what? He's not a kid. He's actually like 20-something. He just looks like a kid forever.
Yeah.
Well, that could have been the type of kid that they could have cast as like a Ben Skywalker if they would have gone that route. Like, he looks like he could be a Skywalker. Why'd they waste him on a random dude?
He doesn't have that personality, I don't think. Like, he kind of plays the same character in every movie.
Yeah. So, I always wonder about that classic TIE Fighter scream that happens, even though in space that can't happen.
Right.
Oh, like none of the sound effects, yeah.
Sound wouldn't happen like that.
Here's my one issue with Finn in this, and it's like just kind of one of those problems that happens with storytelling in general. Finn is supposed to be like the best stormtrooper as far as like the testing goes.
Oh, he isn't.
But they say that he's like in like the one comic or something like that he tested like the best of like most of them.
Yeah, but he's not aggressive. That's his problem.
Yeah. But then he also says, like, I can't fly. I've never used anything other than a blaster. Like, and it's like, what the hell did you test so good with, you know?
Well, he's good at shooting.
No, not with
like
spaceship.
Turrets? Huh. Well, he's guessing, you know? He's panicking.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, I guess just like our military, if you're a Marine, you're not going to just hop into a fucking airplane and be like, yeah, let's shoot.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, you got a point. He's not an air guy. He's actually just like a field guy.
Yeah, because he can use a sword, right? Sort of that bat thing.
I'm You know what? Speaking of using the swords, I want him to be a Jedi.
Yeah,
I know that they're kind of hinting that he isn't, but at the same time, if they say that he broke the conditioning and he was able to put up that much of a fight against Kylo Ren, make him a Jedi. Like,
right.
But you gotta be, like, aware of the Force, right? Like, isn't that the requirement, like, the minimum requirement?
Well, kind of, I guess, but they could always just say
sensitive.
that he was very, like, the mind control fucked him up with it or something.
Well, he could just turn out to be. That's what I like, especially reading into the extended universe, like reading more in depth with characters that don't have like a lot of lines in the movie. Like, turns out there's a lot of really cool characters that aren't Jedi at all. So I'd be fine with him just being a badass general.
Like, not everyone needs to be a Jedi in this series.
Yeah.
You know, like, as a kid, I was like, yeah, Jedi everything. Then I got episode 2. It's like, okay, maybe not.
See, I want Poe to be the non-Jedi. And I want Rey and Finn to both be Jedi, and for them to hook up and for them to have a kid at the end of episode 10. Or episode 9.
I don't think they're that progressive, buddy.
No, they could. Because, like, think about it. There's still aliens. No, that's not Lucy Lawless.
Yeah, that was.
Was it?
No.
Whoa. Okay, so there's, like, this whole sequence, there's, like, a whole chapter in the book that explains why, like, he's not in a TIE fighter.
There's so much stuff in that book, I bet, but I'm like, I ain't reading it.
I read the cliff notes on it. It's like, that's why it explains he ejected first, why, like, Poe is supposedly still here at this point, like, you know what I mean? Like, he was in the back
yeah,
of
they
shit.
should have, like, maybe put that into the movie. That makes sense.
They should have, right? Like, I felt like there was a scene missing.
Well,
there's a lot in this movie that seems like it was cut out for some reason.
Pushed, yeah. Well, because they had to fit a lot in.
Well, like, even the DVD, they don't even show it. It's not like, you know, like, fill it in here, see the complete edition.
Oh, right.
So, again, the first gen Blu-rays don't have, like, all the additional stuff, you know? Like, that's why I'm kind of like, okay, sorry for people who bought the Blu-ray, you got suckered, bud.
Oh, then again, like, those DVDs for, like, episode 1 and stuff, they have amazing content, but then we know we're going to get 20 other versions of this, too, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to get the version where Finn is, like,
digitally in there.
not a stormtrooper, he's actually just a Gungan.
You're going to have a different version when George Lucas gets a hold of it where Poe pulls first and he's the one in the parachute.
Yeah.
And Finn is the one that crashes and doesn't actually die. That made sense, right?
Yeah, it made as much sense as Greedo shooting first.
Yeah.
Hey, Taylor, let's go back in time. Do you remember when we saw the teaser trailer, like the one where we're trying to, like, guess this scene where, like, when he puts on the jacket, he's all sweaty?
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out, like, what Finn was.
Well, you know what? Just that shot of him popping up, which was the first shot we ever saw of Force Awakens. When I'm watching the movie and he popped up, in my mind, I went, bum.
Yeah, I think I did too. We all did. That's funny.
It's like forever ingrained in my brain. It's going to be just bum for that one thing. I'm going to be like 20 years from now, and I'm going to be doing that. And
I also do, like, this whole ship is filled with, like, people under 40. You know what I mean? Like, in the first Star Wars movie, everyone was, like, 40 and above on the ship.
I will say this, they did nail the deformed face on everybody, because everyone just looks fucking weird. Just
no, they all look British. They all look European.
Yeah, that's what it is. Sorry.
Well, British plus Star Wars equals really bad, unless you're Rey.
Yeah, you're in the Empire. That's if you're British.
See, I want to know who that guy was, because that had to have been somebody famous.
A lot of people are, like, Michael Giacchino, the composer, is a stormtrooper. We know Daniel Craig pops up as a stormtrooper at one point.
Spoiler alert.
And, you know, we talked about Simon Pegg, and Kevin Smith is in the movie. Like,
is he?
He says one random line. That's terrible.
Yeah.
But, you know, speaking about British actors and stuff.
He got stuck in this world because he couldn't get a flight out.
The whole British thing, this is something I didn't even think about. Rey is British. They're okay with her keeping the accent. Why not John Boyega?
Because American people aren't used to black British people. Like, Eldridge Iba.
Like, oh my god.
He's super British. But, like, he can't do his accent here. Like, in America. People would not accept it.
I feel well. Maybe I think I definitely would agree with that. Like, and then I think it's easier as an American audience to bond with somebody that they speak
is of color and is in Star Wars. Like,
well, there is that one line in the movie where it's just like, "Droid, please." It's like, oh, come on.
That's actually where I really liked because I've been judging BB-8 for the whole movie, and then when he does the thumbs up thing, that's when I was like, all right, I like it.
Okay, think about the thumbs up thing. I can't tell if it's a thumbs up or a middle finger.
Oh, it's a thumbs up.
Is it?
Yeah, it's definitely a thumbs up.
All right.
Well, speaking about being progressive, this whole sequence here is just to establish she don't need no man.
I thought progressive, I'm like, she just called a black guy a thief. Like, I'm like, that's not progressive. Really, I said that out loud in the theater. People were just like, wait, yeah. I'm like, what?
He right.
You gotta feel bad for BB-8 here, though.
Ooh, you know what we should do? We should take the scenes with BB-8 and then do voiceover work for him.
Oh, fun fact about BB-8. 2 guys voice BB-8. How weird is that, right?
Yeah, Bill Hader is one of them.
Bill Hader and
whoever that other guy is.
Ben Schwartz from Parks and Rec. He was BB-8's other voice. And like they fuse it together to make the beep boops.
That's cool.
Finn, yeah, I'm Resistance, yeah.
The way he says that is great.
The whisper, like panic talk. Yep.
Yeah. And then he gets all cool about it.
Yeah, and I like how he's like, this is how some of us look, but some of us look different too.
The way he speaks, you're like, God, this is good, great writing.
You know, it doesn't look like Daisy Ridley's wearing makeup. That's the insane part. It's like, but you know, she is a little bit, but it's like, she still looks natural.
Right. I don't need no man.
Stop taking my hand. It's like, all right, well, we're not in episode 8 yet. The middle one's where somebody's going to take your hand.
Well, one of them's got to say, like, I love you, and I know. That's going to happen, I bet you.
Well, she's got to get her hand cut off if she's a Skywalker.
Might be go different. Maybe she got a foot cut off.
That'll be their whole, like, switch it up. See, I'm still... She has to be Luke's kid. Because you can't make it... Like, Kathleen Kennedy was talking about how this is still the story of the Skywalkers.
You know,
and it can't be just about Kylo Ren because that dude killed his dad. Like, he's not going to be able to be redeemed after that.
Right. So that's why my theory is that it's actually like a Kenobi.
That's what Rey is.
Yeah, that's my theory is that she's a Kenobi.
Yeah, I'd actually put a lot of weight into that one too. The Kenobi thingy.
He had 10 years in the desert just waiting.
But then she'd be older.
Yeah, that's the only thing that like. Makes it weird. He could be. I've heard granddaughter. At the
very least, she would have to be 30-something years old.
If she was like the direct daughter, but it's descendants. You know what I mean? Like, there's no rules of his descendants.
Tell you what, since they're clearly not going to end up going the Mara Jade route, I would be totally fine if it was. I still want her to be Luke's daughter, but if say Laura Dern is the love interest for Luke and her mom. Mm-hmm. If they do that, that'd be cool if it was like Laura Dern was Kenobi's niece or something like that. And it's like you keep the Kenobi and the Skywalker line together. Like, that'd be kind of cool. People went nuts in the theater this part.
Too, but I was just like, why is it treated like a shitty car? Like on cinder blocks almost.
I think it's because the guy... Doesn't it turn out that
like the salvager just like but like wouldn't you lock the door at least or something like
I don't know.
Even if you're gonna abandon a vehicle, wouldn't you kind of like
or take it for parts?
Yeah, like scrap it or like at least roll up the windows.
Yeah.
So a lot of people pointed out later how it's really difficult to fly the Millennium Falcon with one person. Like, you actually need, like, 2 people minimum, at least.
Yeah, you need the co-pilot to be able to reach over and stuff.
Yep, they pointed out a lot, but it's like, who designed this ship where you had to have 2 people at all times?
Right.
Yeah, especially because Han's, like, such a, solo type of guy.
Hey.
You'd think that he would have been like, fuck the idea of having a partner. You know?
Yeah, I mean, like...
Well, he didn't build the ship. He got it from Lando.
That's true, yeah, he did get it from Lando.
Think about this, like, every vehicle...
Lando always had a bitch beside him.
Every vehicle on Earth, basically, you can drive by yourself if you had to, right? Besides, like, huge ships.
Right.
Like, this isn't a cruise liner. You know, like, it's a spaceship. Yet you need 2 people at least to do all the button pressing.
One thing that I didn't notice, but right after I saw the movie, people were pointing it out. The only difference between the Millennium Falcon from Return of the Jedi and this is that the radar dish is different. And it's because it gets knocked off in Return of the Jedi. Oh, so this one, instead of having the round one that they used to have, this one has a square one. And it's like, oh, that's funny.
Oh,
that's
nice.
ultra nerd detail.
It's the type of thing where it's like, after I watched this 100 times, maybe I would pick up on it. But man, somebody got that immediately when they watched this movie. And it was like, shit. All right, I guess I'm not that much of a nerd, am I?
Which... it's like, oh, I'm a fan. And it's like, you meet someone who's just like super superior. Like, well, okay, maybe not.
That's a cool part right there.
When you meet somebody who actually knows the backstory of Lor Santeca.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I hate too. Is I'm a huge Star Wars fan, man. I love it. I've read a ton of stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then they start asking questions, and it's just completely like, no.
It keeps you humble. It keeps you humble.
I can summarize things.
Like, I can tell you that Chewie has like a planet smash into him or a moon or something, but I can't tell you shit about why.
To save Han Solo's shitty ass fucking son.
Yep. Janice or one of them.
Jaina and Jason and Anakin, I think, are the kids.
No. Anakin was the good one.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, Jason's a bad one.
Jason, yeah.
I have the Star Wars chronology, and it's you can get it at your local Books A Million. It's like $20, and it's like beginning of all the writing that was ever done, basically. And they condense it all in one book, and it's got pictures and all sorts of stuff. It's really good. It's definitely worth pick up.
So like the old stuff, or the EU,
including video games, anything that was like official canon before this movie, obviously.
Before Disney took over and started rewriting history.
It
all
was
the legend
summarized,
stuff.
But it was really great, and they had pictures, and it's just like maps of the universe, where this, like how this they went throughout the universe and discovered all these planets, and like it goes into detail and all that. It's really good.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, especially like your internet's out and like you just want to read a book.
Yeah.
Well, they keep picking different parts of that still and incorporating it.
Yeah, but
so
it's
I wouldn't be too surprised if something like Thrawn pops up, or...
Well, that's a theory about new Rogue One, is that guy in white could be Thrawn.
Yeah, for those listening to this later on, the Rogue One teaser was yesterday. So we don't know much about that movie either. Now, there are going to be people clicking on this when Episode 8 comes out, and they're going to be like, these guys are fucking idiots. It's clearly this. Or Laura Dern is obviously reincarnated Darth Maul, so...
God, they know Prince is playing Darth Vader. How do they not know this?
Yeah, by now we already know that Kylo Ren is actually the descendant of General Grievous instead.
God, they should know that they brought Freddie Mercury's corpse back from the dead, and they use him as a new Jedi. Jeez.
Okay, so BB-8's like weird hook thing that he can like shoot out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little like not like advanced in this time. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain technologies that are advanced, and there's certain technologies that seem, like, primitive for, like, its time.
You would think that he'd be able to hover.
But, like... Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess hover.
Hover? R2-D2 could hover, and he was, like, 40 years before this.
Yeah, how much of a shitty job do you have if you're this dude, though? Sir, we kind of fucked up.
Yeah, but, like, there was, like, a committee that goes, okay, you pull the short straw. You gotta tell Kylo Ren the bad news.
Well, not like that's an expensive set of equipment, Kylo. Like, fuck, man. What if that controlled, like, the anti-gravity field or something, you know?
The oxidation field was like, oh, God.
We're also out of cheese. Fuck you! See, he clearly knows Rey. Which is making me go, like, he's got to be her fucking cousin or something, like.
But if you know Rey exists, wouldn't you, like, kind of either avoid Jakku or get Rey?
One theory I've heard, don't put much into it, is that Kylo Ren's the one who drops her off, and that he just kind of couldn't kill her. But then it's like, but she was thinking that she was dropped off by her parents, not by her fucking 20-year-old.
But she wasn't
cousin.
like a baby when she got dropped off either. She was like 8.
Yeah, she's like 8 or 9. And Kylo Ren should be about 20 around that time, because he's like roughly around 30 here.
Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Here's this moment. Oh man, I cracked up so much at that. I was just kind of like, these two characters are fucking awesome.
Yeah, this dialogue seems so like a Kevin Smith moment though, like rapid talk, pointing things, and just like, you know what I mean? Like it seemed like J.J. Abrams had no part in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, just letting him, and that's one of my favorite things about the originals is like the conversation just seemed normal most of the time.
Yep.
Like he sounds like a whiny bitch, like God, but I was gonna need some power converters. Like, you know what I mean? Like they let them be normal people, which is what like as soon as the movie started and they didn't talk in weird accents, I was like, all right, I'm good. Like this movie could suck and I'd still be fine.
Plus the fact that they weren't just having like Senate meetings.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh god, no one's walking and talking in hallways.
Yeah, I don't feel like he needed to put his hand on her head right there.
Yeah, that was a little weird. He's just used to it.
He just likes touching her, you know? Yeah. I get it.
I can't blame him. She's cute.
Yeah, I mean, was she within arm distance? I might touch Daisy Ridley. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what? I'm actually putting it together because when that one died and he stuck his hand on his face and rubbed his season, that's a sign of affection for stormtroopers. So he was just telling her, "Hey, I love you."
Well, there's the deleted scene where he goes, "What's your name?" And he's like, "FN2187. Oh, I'll call you Finn." And he's like, "Oh, what's your name? Poe? Let me touch your face."
You touch your face, Poe.
We're like bros now, right? So I can like pat your head.
He's like got his arm behind his head and he's like trying to reach back there and like you just see from Poe's point of view and it's like, get your hand on my face.
I do like that line though. You got a boyfriend? Cute boyfriend? The people went nuts during this, of course.
Oh yeah, that was great.
This too, yeah. A lot of people like cheered. But unfortunately, because everyone saw the trailer like 50 times, like it's so I was expecting this.
Yeah. But at least with this scene, it wasn't just bump.
That's true.
Chewie looks weird.
He looks pretty good for his age. He's like 300 years old
His
at
hair
this
is
point.
too nice.
It's too like groomed.
And his eyes are too like shrunk.
Well, see, in the meantime, when we saw him in the original trilogy, they're in the middle of like the losing end of the war and all that. Now they've gotten 30 years where they're on top. They could finally afford some shampoo and conditioner for him.
Nice.
Like, Chewie, shouldn't you be back with your family? It's like, God, that doesn't exist.
He's like, meh. Here's typical like Star Wars lingo though. You stole it from this dude. That dude stole it from this dude. We'll meet him in comic number whatever.
Then he looks at the camera slowly.
Chewie's just like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing. He's just like, I don't fucking pay attention.
Stop touching my head, Finn. Nice little moment.
Very
For him to be like, oh man, I'm old.
Yeah.
Hey, what though? He looks pretty good.
70?
Like, for you buy him still being Han Solo.
I think he's like early 70, I think.
Something like that.
Late 60s, early 70s.
Who are we talking about?
Harrison
Solo.
Ford.
I'm paying attention. No. I'm sorry, I'm watching it. Yeah, I guess he would be in his 60s, right? One thing I'm glad they're not going to have anymore in the extended universe is like Han Solo and like Leia were friends when they were kids and bullshit like that.
Wait, that happened?
That's stupid.
That shit always bothered me. Yeah, it's just dumb stuff like that. They were trying to do like a teen series, so like teens would watch them back in the day. Remember back in the day we would read Animorphs and like shit like that. No,
I get it, but I'm just thinking like
That's ridiculous. Like, they met at fucking A New Hope. Fuck you. Like, you know what I mean?
They don't need to be other friends.
Right. Like, we don't... a lot of the stuff in the prequels were, like, I appreciate some moments here and there. Like, I love R2-D2 being Padme's droid.
Yeah, that kind of makes
but
sense.
Holy shit, C-3PO should not have been built by Anakin. Fuck you. The typical Star Wars line again. You've never heard about the Trillion Massacre? It's like, all right, when are we gonna get that in a book?
It's something you have to look up later. That's definitely like a whole like marketing scam.
You'll have to look it up on Wikipedia.
Oh, come on, boo! I'm booing that, Tony. Is Wikipedia really a thing?
Wikipedia actually is a thing.
No, all right, well, I'm an asshole.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know.
You're just used to me doing terrible puns.
Yeah, that's what it was. All right, time to call these guys out on this one.
Space agents.
Well, this has got for those who pay attention to Collider stuff, we got Mark Ellis here. My biggest takeaway about this scene is I want to figure out what Conja Club is. Tell that to Conja Club. Because you took it from Conja Club. It's Conja Club. Man.
His eyes freak me out. Like, the thing is, he's not an alien. That's a human. That's his face. That's his normal face.
Here's the rapid fire of Conja Club. Let's see. There's one.
No, 3 at this point.
2.
It'd be 3.
3
4.
in the span of 10 seconds. And then it's like, oh, here's Conja Club. Got some people from the raid. Can't wait to see this fight scene.
This fight scene is going to be great, right? This is the equivalent of the S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Wyatt family stepping up next to each other and then immediately not doing anything at all. Oh, which basically is what happened.
Again, a whole squad of stuntmen and realistic martial artists.
That's a great exchange there. The whole, screw you guys over before? Yeah, twice. And Chewie's like, yeah. And then he's just like, well, what was the second time? It's like, that's classic Han Solo,
Yeah.
I love the unexplained backstories for Han Solo and, like, all this,
Yeah, I would.
We're going to get that book, Han Solo, Conja Club.
I hope it's something just really dumb, too. Like, it's like a underground, like, Wookiee hooker league or something.
Nightclub kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, this is the second time she's attempting to, like, sabotage systems for, like, to trick people. Because she's going to do that in Millennium Falcon. Now she's going to do it, like, with these space monsters.
This whole Rath-Tart thing was probably my least favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
Out of place.
Even the design's kind of like, meh.
Yeah, everything about it was just bad. You know what?
It's kind of like a testicle with tentacles.
Do you think they did it, or do you think this was all planned out, like, because his leg broke and they had to find something else to do?
Oh, actually, you got a good point, because you never see his legs at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all he's doing in the scene is running. You would think that would be the worst thing for him to do.
Right, but it's like...
They could have shot that a little bit later, just that one part.
But, like, at this point, yeah, it's because probably his leg broke, so, like, oh, fuck, like, what are we gonna do with, like, how do we explain him not, like, seeing his feet?
Makes sense. Oh, yeah, because you're probably got a big boot on him.
I just think that they thought that it was kind of... I kind of blame it on Abrams a little bit, that he was probably, like, that he likes the idea of just having this kind of a tentacle monster thing. Sort of like, let's try to do a little Sarlacc pit kind of moment, or...
A mobile Sarlacc pit.
It's funny because I missed this whole part in the theater because I went to the bathroom.
It affected nothing of the story.
You know what this is going to be? This is going to be the... you guys are familiar with Goonies, right?
Yep.
The octopus in Goonies at the end?
Well, they fit in a tech deck of Cyndi Lauper.
What?
Yeah, that's how they defeated the octopus. Someone gives it a tech, like an audio cassette tape of Cyndi Lauper, and it freaks out and goes away.
No, it doesn't.
It does. See it.
Okay. Well, they cut that part out of the movie, right? Because it's so bad, but they still cut that part in about like oh, and you should see the octopuses. Because, like, I watched it the other day driving with my kids, and my kids were like, what octopus? I didn't see anything.
Definitely see the scene again. Some kid, one of the Goonies, shoves a cassette tape of Cyndi Lauper in its mouth.
Jeez.
And it plays, too. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, man.
Well, if Ray would have done that in this scene, then...
Yeah.
So here's something I'm going to bring up a little bit later on. They established in this movie that this bowcaster thing is a beast.
Yeah. And
when he shoots Kylo Ren later on, a lot of people were bitching and complaining that, like, Finn could fight him, and it's like, dude, he got shot with this thing that blew people up.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, like, really powerful. Like, that's why a Wookiee can handle it pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Not to change the subject, but I think in this part right there, they do an homage to the old ones when they shoot the door, and then there's like a... You can see the bad editing in between the shots of, like, the thing exploding and them shooting. Cause they did that in this movie, and it's super out of place, and it's very noticeable. Like, go back and watch it when, or if you're following along, you can go back in just a couple seconds when he shoots that door. You can see where, like, it freeze frames, and it looks really bad. But I think they did that on purpose as an homage to the originals.
Well, the original one, you saw the one with the guy hits his head on the
yeah. There's things like that.
Yeah, it's so great. Yeah. And then they brought that into Attack of the Clones. With Jango Fett hitting his head.
Yep.
At that point, it's like, fuck you, Ray. It's my ship. Tell them to find them in Conja Club.
Conja Club.
That guy better be, like, listed. Instead of Balatik, he should just be, like, Conja Club Enforcer.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw this in the theater, my jaw dropped because I literally thought he was that big, and I was like, oh my god, are they trying to do the Avengers? I did not catch on that he was a hologram.
I didn't think he was a hologram either, and I was pissed because I'm like, don't tell me they're gonna have him fight a fucking giant in like the next movie or something.
So glad I wasn't the only one that thought that.
No, I saw like leak marketing where they explained this as a hologram because what's his face? Andy Serkis was like, oh yeah, like I'm like this guy. And we're like, oh, I'm a hologram half the time. Like, wait, what?
I don't like Snoke.
You don't like Snoke?
No, in general, right now, I'm not digging Snoke. He seems like he's like a discount Palpatine.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Like, I actually thought he was like an ultimate Palpatine. He's a white, pale guy, and he's huge. Like,
well, I think what was so good about the build for the Emperor was you didn't see him. So the second one, kind of. You know what I mean? That's like however long it took for those movies to come out, 8 years. That's 8 years before you get to see the ultimate bad guy. There's such a build, and then we just walk in on these guys talking about bullshit.
Yeah, there's no build up. It's kind of like, and here you go, like everything you need to know.
Plus, it's like if you go back and you watch 1 through 6, just the way that it normally should be through like 1 through 6, then you get to see Palpatine as like this manipulative, like badass kind of character. And this is like, oh, Snoke, he's been around all this time. Well, where the fuck was he? Not doing anything?
No one has an idea.
Yeah.
There's always theories about how Snoke could be Palpatine's master. But
Plagueis?
Yeah, but then that doesn't make any goddamn sense, right?
Yeah, because then it's like, well, by the rule of 2 thing, he already killed him in his sleep, so...
Again, that's what I mean, like, where... I have no idea where to put him in the story.
Yeah, and then that kind of cheapens Palpatine a little bit, too, because then it makes it seem like he's not the ultimate evil.
He didn't do his job.
There's a lot of really shitty theories out there, too. Some people are like, it's Tarkin, and it's like, dude, that fucker blew up.
Yeah, he blew up in the first movie of that series.
And he wasn't a dark side user. He was just a dude.
I like that scene between those two. This is so weird to me.
You just ripped it out. That's not bypassing.
Yeah.
Typical Mary Sue.
I can't rip out piping in my car and then it goes faster. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know about your car. This is one of my issues with this movie. Did he need to hit this and go, you guys remember this? And did he need to bring out that remote droid thing and be like, you guys remember that too? Like,
yeah.
I like some of the things, but some of them are like, you didn't need that. Like,
yeah, but don't lie. When you were a kid, when that came up, you totally wanted to play that game. Like, that looked like the coolest shit ever.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, I also just wanted a lightsaber.
Yeah, well, they explain that like the first 3 movies, like episodes 1 to 3, was meant for kids, while this is really not. If you think about it, like it's way more action, way more like drama than like any of the first 3 movies had.
Yeah.
Well, even just the idea that PG-13 movies now are marketed more as like some rated R movies used to be.
Yeah, like I would even say like I went back and watched Monster Squad or even Goonies. Like in Goonies, they say shit like 5 times.
That's a hard PG-13 now.
Yeah, that's a PG movie, and like that was a movie I grew up on. Like that's I've never even thought about it cussing, but like I have like a 8-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I'm just like, oh man, maybe they shouldn't be watching this.
No, I grew up watching Terminator and RoboCop, and I turned out fine.
Hey, great, because we're 90s kids. We're gonna be awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
One day we'll be awesome.
We're the future.
We're the future tomorrow.
Once this economy gets better, we'll be able to control shit.
Yeah.
Once I figure out how to vote, I'll be great.
They don't teach that in high school.
So this is a cool little difference. You got the original trilogy where Han's just going, it's a bunch of bullshit, and by this time, he's already spent over 30 years dealing with it, and he's just like, yep, totally true. Dark side. That
whole, like, Vader thing. Like, well, like, wouldn't the news cover half the shit that went on, like, or something, where it's like, yep, like, it's true. There was a war.
Yeah, I don't get the Jedi being a myth, because it's like, that was
they were a major
60
part
years ago?
Of the Clone Wars.
Well, for one, they were a major part of the Clone Wars, but even let's just say that the Empire like took it over and like changed history, okay? But then now the Rebels fought back, but the Rebels knew that the Jedi were a huge part of it, and they were fighting Darth Vader, who was the Darth Sith.
They're not Jedi, but
that's history, right? We're not going to forget Hitler anytime soon.
Right, like, and the Jedi were not just like a flash in the pan; they were ruling for over 1,000 years.
They were a whole republic before the Empire, like, was the Empire, the Old Republic group.
Yeah,
and it's like 2 decades go by, and people are like, "Yeah, I don't know if that's real." Yeah. And it's like, holy shit! Well, then again, you know what? Actually, though, we do have people that think that the Holocaust wasn't real. They're idiots, but
somebody actually posted something really good yesterday. I was playing Here's the Storm, and somebody had posted. They called it the Hollow Hoax.
Oh my god!
And it was Anne Frank wrote in her journal with a ballpoint pen, and that wasn't created until 15 years after her death.
Oh, come on!
And it's like, do you believe the Hollow Hoax? And I was like, Jesus Christ, come on!
Wow, I actually never think about it. It's like if you discontinue the Holocaust, you have to discontinue Anne Frank. But like Anne Frank is like a national treasure everywhere.
Yeah. Well, every war needs its heroes.
That's true. Also, that's like a fire starter, like a fireplace starter gun, right? Like that looks like what people, like rich people, use to start a fire in their fireplace, not like an actual laser weapon.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't know how to use it anyway, so she probably wouldn't have been able to start a fire with it. She would have kept the safety on.
Look at her.
This is one of those scenes, though, that makes you go. He gives her this look where he knows her, like.
Oh, for sure.
Also, the 3 things in his pockets. What are they? The 3 things.
They're Pez dispensers. Actually, it's probably his pills.
Yeah,
it's heart meds.
Yeah, exactly.
This one's for my erections. This one's for my heart meds.
Yeah, this one's for Leia. This one's for Chewie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Chewie doing the grunt work again.
Yeah, while you go to the titty bar. What an asshole.
Yeah. I'm going to go see Maz. She's just the right height.
You'll be cleaning up Wookiee poop.
I didn't like this droid.
It doesn't do anything. It's just this.
No.
I did not like it.
It's Portal.
It's like, it looks like the type of thing that was added in for no reason.
No,
kind of like what they did with the special
trailer,
editions.
It's a great shot.
Yeah,
like it doesn't check it out. Like it doesn't. Like if it would have given them like even shown them like there's the door, it would have felt a little bit more natural.
Right.
The fact that like
or it'd have been cool if he had to give like a password or something.
Yeah. Not digging the song either, too.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Definitely not as jazzy as the other ones. But look at that! Look, feature sport game.
There's Mos Def.
Like, it's not as good as the Cantina, but at the same time, it's nowhere near as bad as that shit they added to Return of the Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
That do. Oh, God, I hate that thing so much.
CG blob, yeah.
Let's take an Oscar-winning actress and put her.
Let's make her Orange Yoda.
Yeah. Oh! I never even thought about that, but yeah, that's a good comparison.
She's old like Yoda. She uses the Force like Yoda, kind of.
She's Force aware. That's the weird part. Oh,
well, supposedly there's a deleted scene where she actually, like, stormtroopers come into the one area, and she uses the Force to take down the ceiling on them.
That's bullshit.
But they deleted the scene, so it's like, now is it not canon that she can use the Force, or what? And why is this terrible microphone have eyes?
Well, no, that was...
Why is this microphone using a microphone to talk?
So there's two... So she actually has a backstory in the comics. So
this chick?
Yeah. Okay, the other one, the microphone droid, is a medical droid. So it's something you had to read through other bullshit Wikipedia shit, but like that's actually like canon for other things.
I wanted to figure out the story of that hot chick.
The one who like lured at the Empire. She's like a mercenary. That's who she is.
That and her big buddy are like they're gonna be a big deal, I think.
No, just her.
Well, yeah, but he's in something too, though.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I remember reading, because I remember hearing something about you're talking about, but I remember reading it about him and her, maybe?
I just remember her, though. Oh, well. This is important. This scene. It's the weird Vader, like, craziness.
See, now here's one of my issues with this movie, though. Kylo Ren attributes Vader as, like, teach me how to whatever. Now, not teach me how to Dougie, but teach me how to use the dark side. Number one, he should know then that Vader turned to the light and that that's the way that you're supposed to go.
No one knows that Vader turned to the light at the end.
Well, I mean, Han and Leia do.
Oh.
I guess they just never mentioned it to him.
Or maybe.
And number two, if he's actually getting any kind of guidance from Darth Vader, then that means that Anakin's not good anymore because he's telling him how to do dark side shit.
Well, Anakin is a spirit now. Like, he knew how to become a spirit, so he's not doing his fucking job.
Now, there's some kind of artwork that they had where they were originally going to have Hayden Christensen show up, and he was going to go back and forth between a dark side Vader afterlife kind of ghost and the actual Anakin one. Which, to me, that would be kind of cool if it was like he had spent so much time in the dark side that his soul kind of split in two, and maybe that's why it's doing it. Maybe that side's talking to Kylo.
No. See, you're making too much of a good story, Tony.
Yeah.
Okay?
This sounds way too good.
You're too good. You're trying to teach kids, like, good and evil. Like, that's not going to work. You can't sell toys.
Yeah, you can sell two toys. You can sell Dark Side Ghost and Light Side Ghost. Also, I want some of this fruit. Looks good.
Yeah, space food always seems weird. Like, it seems appetizing for, like, a weird reason, right?
Yeah, like that blue milk.
The blue milk, the bread,
I'd drink the shit out of that.
Space fruit, the alcohol. Like,
there's nothing that looks more delicious than in Hook when the whatchamacallit.
The dream
the
scene.
frosting meal. They're all eating like weird.
God. It looks so good.
It really does. You can understand why that one kid's super fat. It's like, man, if I was there, I'd eat so much of that imaginary food. Although, actually, if it's all imaginary, how the hell did that kid get so fat? He must be really thinking hard about it.
Yeah, the kid's got the best imagination. It actually turns out he's the one with the marbles, right? So
he's the one that's like, man, I'm thinking so hard about this, I can practically taste it. And it's like...
See, that's a person too, right? The guy with the red head.
Like the
red head guy,
or the guy that walks by.
They'll show him here in a second. But he's a character too, I think. I mean, they're obviously all characters, but I mean, like, have a more storyline.
Oh, he's a character, that old guy.
The one that Finn almost joins is supposed to be like a cargo crew that just like does space fishing or something like that. Like, it's something that they quickly mentioned, but they quite didn't flush it out yet.
See, there's Mos Def in the background.
I keep seeing Finn. I don't know who you're talking about. Are you just talking about Finn again?
No. There's a guy there he is, back right.
Oh, wait, the guy in the rags? That's like kind of black in the back?
Yeah. No,
see, again, though, that's Maskanata. Who's the girl? And Han obviously tells her, but we don't see it because they're keeping it out from the audience. It's a blind audience scene.
I was really upset about that because like that's shitty storytelling. Where like obviously everyone knows, but the audience.
About what?
It's like, who's the girl? And Han looks at her as like, I'll tell you, and then like it cuts away to this.
Now some people think that she's their other kid, and it's like no, because he would have said something to Leia. But if she's the niece and Luke's kid,
yeah,
then that's
it's way more sense than going, oh yeah, you're my other daughter. By the way, I'm gonna ignore you.
Right, and he says, "I saw our son." You would think that he would also be like, "And here's our daughter."
Oh, by the way, our daughter, because she's not in the room during that sequence.
Right. I'm going with the theory that they think that Luke's daughter is dead. And that he's got the feeling that she might be her or whatever.
Maybe that's what, because I like that thing you guys were talking about earlier, where Kylo Ren, he dropped her off, right? But
because he can't kill her, because he still has a little bit of good in him.
What turned him to the dark side, right? So like that was the last straw. Like the family broke ties with him after this part.
Maybe. Again, it's awesome because we're trying to think of better storylines. I think we're going to do.
You're right. See, there's Mos Def again. You see him?
Wow. Yeah, like vaguely.
On the left side?
Did he really have like a huge contract? Because he's like passing by or like in blurriness.
There he is again. Right side. He's in every scene.
Is that him again?
He's again in the middle.
This dude, Jesus.
Wait, no, I think you're not. He's like the only black guy in the back.
It's actually Morgan Freeman the whole time.
Now you can tell with his rubber hands. You guys know that Morgan Freeman has one arm, right?
What?
You guys did not know.
Are you making a Happy Gilmore joke here?
Morgan Freeman has one arm, one hand. That's not a joke. Like,
did Vader cut it off?
He did. I think Morgan Freeman is technically Morgan Skywalker.
He's actually Luke this whole time, not Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Hey, if you're listening to this, still pause it and then just go YouTube. Morgan Freeman has one hand, and then watch all the movies where his hand is like you could freeze frame it when it's like looking all rubbery.
Are you sure about Morgan Freeman or Denzel Washington? Because he has one hand that's fucked up.
Morgan Freeman.
All right.
Yeah, like in The Dark Knight, he's climbing a ladder and you can see his hand like being all rubbery and bouncing on it.
I thought you were just making a joke that Morgan Freeman looks like the dude from Happy Gilmore that has the one hand.
Oh, no. Chibs.
But look at Denzel Washington's like left or right hand. He has the one that's like his two fingers are like really fucked up so that you never see the hand.
So this is a huge scene right here. This is something we've never seen before, like psychometry.
Yes,
and
that's what
she's got like the, she's seeing these visions, and some of them are from the past, some of them are from the future, some of them are concurrently happening. Like,
yeah, it's weird. It's a really fast paced storytelling, and this iconic scene that was in the goddamn trailer that everyone like overanalyzed.
Yeah,
like who's this dude? Like, apparently this is not supposed to be when Kylo Ren killed all of the other Jedi.
This is the Order of Ren.
It makes you think that that's what it was.
But this is the Order of Ren guys. Where the fuck are these people?
Right, like...
Then she sees herself? Okay, that's
like, one of my biggest issues with this movie is just that they have so many things that they need to explain.
Oh, tons.
Like, they don't even explain what the hell the whole
that's Alan
political
Tudyk
system
right there,
is.
During that sequence. That voice, it says Ren.
Yeah.
Well, the one that says Rey is Alec Guinness.
Yeah, Alec Guinness, that's it.
Yeah,
so,
and
here's the thing.
These are your first steps is Ewan McGregor, which I think that's kind of cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, they took from what he says, "Don't be afraid," and they took the Rey part of that to be Rey. These are your first steps. I was the best part of the prequels. Here's that shot that's kind of like the shot that we saw in the trailer, but was never in the movie, where she's handing the lightsaber to Leia.
To Leia?
Yeah.
Remember in the trailer they showed Maz Kanata, she hands the lightsaber to Leia?
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was to her. Because she was like, that was Luke's, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because Maz Kanata goes with them after this whole attack, but they just cut that out of the movie. They were like, well, if she goes with them, it doesn't do anything. It kind of seems pointless. Well, but it's like, yeah, but at least you know that she doesn't die. Like,
yeah, her bar's gone, so it makes sense.
And poor Maz Kanata, she's been running that place for 1,000 years, and then it's just like, it's done.
What's the matter with your face?
Stop wearing those goggles. They're kind of fucking up your eyes.
Right? And those goggles are clean. You can't see through those things.
So, I don't know what alien this is, but they're definitely gonna have an expanded fucking universe with, like, explaining this whole group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Adventures of Maz Kanata versus Kanja Club.
Kanja Club.
It's all trying to tie back to Kanja Club.
The fact they call it Kanja Club just sounds like it might be Jamaican, but then it's like Kanja, it's like Latin for unit. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do with that.
Oh man, if it's actually like a Jamaican nightclub, that'd be so sweet.
Yeah, when they're actually meaning to pronounce it Ganja Club.
Yeah, that's the Ganja Club.
Ganja Club, man. Look on Toro. You know you owe me money, man.
So the other thing about drugs they ever reference is the death sticks from, like, episode 2.
Ugh.
So, like, drugs aren't a problem here. Yeah.
Oh, here we go with Hitler scene.
This is great, by the way, and those 2 stormtroopers look like midgets.
Oh man, they really do. I never noticed that.
Yeah.
Holy shit, they really do.
Sorry for any little people listening. But
I'm sure that they're just a little pissed about it.
Look how big their helmets are. That's got to be an homage to Spaceballs.
Also, it's like, I will avenge my brother who died in Harry Potter Part 2.
He was in Revenant. Did you guys watch that?
He was?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Yeah, he's the captain or whatever.
He gets away okay.
We will find those bears!
And he will win an Oscar for it!
This was no doubt one of my favorite scenes to just make fun of after I saw the movie the first time. I just kept pretending like I was Hux. And it was just kind of like, we're driving back from Atlantic City. It's just kind of like, remember that you take the 7th exit, and when you do the last exit, it's like...
It's so good.
It's really hard to take British people speaking loud as, like, a serious tone. You know what I mean?
Tell you what, though, bringing about the Revenant, I buy this dude shouting as more threatening than anything that Tom Hardy would have done if he would have just been like, we're going to find the pelts. We got to find the Republic's pelts.
That's pelts. My favorite line of the whole movie is, and it's great, it's fucking...
Get the pelts.
That's the second time I saved your life. I ought to be God to you. Oh,
yeah.
Such a good line. Hey, Banana. Such a great line.
Now, this whole thing right here, stupid as hell that they have another Death Star, and the whole difference is just, it's like 5 Death Star beams.
Because, like, yeah, makes sense. Like, Death Star technology, if no one attacks it, is pretty badass, right?
Mm.
Also, huge backstory for, like, these 2 characters. Her
and she is gorgeous.
Well, they waste her. She won a contest, basically, to be honest.
She was supposed to be like Leia's number 2 or something, right?
Yeah, there's a huge backstory with her and everything, and that's why she gets upset when, like, she gets wiped out, right? In the comic, not in the movie. In the movie, she's kind of like, meh.
And like, they don't set up at all that, like now that I've tried to look more into it, it's like the Hosnian systems where they're holding the Senate, so they actually, like, destroyed the Senate.
Well, because, they moved from Coruscant to that other planet. People thought that was Coruscant.
Like, they don't set that up in this movie at all.
Oh, no, that's something you had to read as a weird prequel, like, stuff to this movie, and then in the books, That's
one of their biggest flaws with this film is, like, they took that stuff for granted, and...
Oh, yeah.
You can't have giant plot points. Like, you can... The dude from...
There's no bearing in this planet exploding. Like, that's a planet full of... At least Alderaan, there was, like, a sort of importance. That's like 4 Alderaans that blew up, but because there's no time to set it up to even explain anything, just, they're gone. Like,
Alderaan, all you gotta need to know is that that's her home planet.
Yeah,
that's all you need to know.
She said it like 3 or 4 times during that sequence, and that's it.
And it's like, it blows up, and Finn goes, it was the Republic. And it's like, that was the Republic? Did they blow up Coruscant? Did they, that kind of thing?
It's not even Coruscant. It's not even
exactly, yeah. You don't even know it's Coruscant until a little bit later on. And
alright, so during this part, I thought, okay, Finn is a Jedi now? Because he just grabbed that Luke's saber, and he's just like, ooh. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's his weapon now. You know what I mean? Like, just putting 2 to 2 together. From the trailer sequence and then this, I was like, oh, so now that's just his weapon.
I still am holding out hope that it turns out that he's got, like, latent force powers.
even without that, he still held his own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's still badass.
Yeah, for a guy who just swung it.
God damn it, Ray. Everybody knows to take off the safety for your
that guy
fire
shot
starting
first
thing.
and still missed.
He's that shitty stormtrooper that they just put on lookout duty. He can't fire, but he can go, hey, somebody's there.
Hey, I'm going to shoot first, and missed like by a few feet.
See, the First Orders learned their lesson from the Empire. They go, we'll send Bill to go check for little teddy bears. Anytime we're on a forest planet, we got to make sure there's no teddy bears.
I don't. Trees and rocks. That's how the weakness is. So, okay. Here's the thing about BB-8. He's great in desert. He's great in space. Or a ship. But, like, forest landscapes are really not a great thing for ball droids. You
know what, though? It's a real droid. Like, it actually does that, a physical thing that goes over all that material, so I guess they figured out a way for it to work.
Well, because, like, that's why in Return of the Jedi, R2 is not on the planet. It's, like, way too, like, terrainy. Yeah.
People marked out with the whole, you do have a weapon, and it was just kind of like, man, we're seeing fucking lightsabers again.
That was cool. Yeah, that was... People clapped. Like, not a lot of people clapped, but some people clapped.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Once again, though, we see that bowcaster is just... How brutal is that shot, too, by the way?
Super brutal. You don't even see a lot of Jedis do that and run in. All right.
And we can't let this go by without talking about the greatest character in the history of the whole 7 films, TR-8R.
Yeah, TR-8R. Super backstory. People want to know why is this traitor and this whole passion sequence.
Which apparently he's Nines from the one book or comic or whatever. He's one of there was Finn had a group of a couple of friends.
Yep.
And Nines was one of them, and that's apparently Nines.
Yep.
But I like TR-8R better. That's so cool. Traitor.
Super gifty. Out of everything that came out of it, he was one of the best gifts I've seen. Also, then he gets just Indiana Jones killed. You know what I mean? Just bowcast out.
Wonder what the subtitles for Cherry Right Down are. It's probably just yo, fuck you.
Wookiee roaring is a group uniqueness to it. You know what I mean? It just different types of screams and it means different words.
Yeah, talk about people not understanding droids. How the hell do you understand?
Yeah, Wookiees is way more complex than.
Okay. The big reveal that Poe's still alive.
Poe comes back, even though doesn't explain at all. This is something you had to read in the goddamn novelization to understand how he did this.
Well, originally he was supposed to die in the script.
Oh, yeah. He was supposed to get Han Solo'd out of this.
And then they were just kind of yeah, we kind of like this guy. Let's keep him around instead of just killing him for no reason.
What was it? Isaac something? What's his name?
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. They're yeah, he can act. Surprisingly, right? Here's
this charismatic, good-looking dude who's actually kind of an interesting character. Can we not kill him?
Yeah. And it's oh yeah, Deus Ex Machina. Yeah, we'll forgive that and we'll make him a Star Wars guy now.
Finn is the best.
Okay, so Finn's super weapon is a gun. Don't give him a sword.
Yeah. Now, if they could give him a sword gun.
Oh man. I mean, it's space. It's future space, whatever. Sword guns could exist.
Hey, they do in Star Wars Rebels. Ezra's got his blaster is also his lightsaber.
Really? Okay, so do you have theories about what this planet was? This was, I think, was this part of the trailer or the international trailer? Where it's is this Endor?
I was assuming that it wasn't, but that was after they had already said that what seemed like Tatooine was Jakku, and I'm oh, so they're just doing the same shit but calling it different planets? Fine.
I see.
It was we're going to have not Hoth, not Endor, and not Tatooine.
I see.
Which they better have some different locations in the next movie. I don't want to see things that we can see on Earth.
Yeah, I want to see different terrain that just should not exist.
Yeah. Like, they don't need to go crazy, stupid, weird with it, but, like, give us a planet with, like, constant meteor showers, or give us, like,
As it rain, you know.
Yeah, like, you know.
I mean, like, I actually appreciate episode 3 for that lava planet.
Yeah, Mustafar was kind of cool.
Yeah, super awesome.
Even the idea that they had that big, like, mushroom planet. It was just like, you know, it was something different.
Yeah,
like,
that was cool. So
looked fake as fuck. But...
So, what force power is holding you still like that? Like, just freezing you? Like, that was never, like, in anything. Like, you can just hold you.
Maybe, like, a really advanced force push.
But, like, you're holding them. Like, you froze their whole body. You know what I mean? Like, and then he just can do things that no other Jedi can do, like this.
Yeah, that whole thing is just like...
Like the knockout wave. Like, even... I don't, like, that's a dark side power, right? It has to be. No light Jedi could just be like, and you're asleep.
It's just, he took a hypnosis class.
Dating 101.
Which actually, you know, when you bring it up, it's kind of like, his powers are sort of like date rapey.
They are. Intrusion into the mind, puts you to sleep, holds you still.
Yeah.
It's the Bill Cosby of dark side powers.
Oh, God. Dude, just get a blaster out. Apparently in this universe, blasters can blow up these things.
Again, as I'm saying, like, there's the degree of weaponry is like, a gun could take out a ship could take out a ship. It doesn't matter.
Did you see that? They took her. She's gone. You mean Luke's kid? I mean, shit, we weren't supposed to until the next movie.
Spoiler alert. Possibly. Who knows?
She's gone. I'll be pissed if she's not.
You mean Darth Maul's kid? I mean, what?
Big reveal.
Is it?
But you know what? She's not looking that bad. I'll admit it.
But we're talking about, like, Lucas CGI.
I loved it. I'm not a big fan of 3PO.
Really?
Like, I'll admit it. I mean, I'm going to catch some flack for it. I think his character is pretty annoying. But him popping up there and doing just like, hey, you know, you probably want to see me, right? Like that. I was just like, all right, that's 3PO. That's really good.
Okay.
Like, I like how little he's in this movie. Because if they would have made him as big of a character as he was before, Return of the Jedi 3PO is annoying as fuck.
He's like a vital point of the whole movie. He translates between Ewoks. Like, he does translation between Java. Like, it just so much.
Which, when we get to the end part, the idea that Leia doesn't hug Chewie, it's annoying.
It is. A lot of people are, like, really upset about that. I'm
like,
kind of
those
upset
are the two people that should be the most upset about Han dying, and she just goes to Rey instead, and it's like, nah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They really discontinued Chewie. Okay, so she's still she's Queen Amidala, right? No, Queen Leia, right? Or is she just Princess Leia now?
Well, I don't know, because it's like she was Princess of Alderaan, and Alderaan doesn't exist anymore, so, like, you kind of think by default, like, she's not
royalty,
ruler of anything, but then at the same time, she's also sort of like the Senate leader, kind of. Although she's a general, but again, they should have said something about it. They didn't explain it.
They do not. I don't know if this is in the book. I didn't read that part. Well, I don't remember that part. Also, this is a different romance moment.
Oh, definitely.
Between droid and between, like, other man.
We got to pay attention this time to see if Finn touches his face. Let's see. We got tap on the back.
It's the man hug.
He's got some of Han Solo's pills on his leg. Keep it. It suits you. You look good in it.
Oh, damn it. How'd you get off of Jakku? I did a lot of sex things. I'm not proud of it.
I'll show you later.
Well, like, how did he get off the planet? It's like, backstory. Don't matter. Even in the book, they shortcut how he got off that goddamn planet.
I met this dude named Darth Maul or something. There's Carrie Fisher's daughter.
Real daughter, yeah.
And there's Matt Parkman from Heroes.
Just like he doesn't even have a name, I think, in this movie.
He's Snap Wexley, and apparently there's a book, I think it's Aftermath, that takes place like just a little bit after Return of the Jedi, and he's a little kid in it. So he's like they introduced him in a book first. Chewie's gonna get some.
This female, like, Han, because she's wearing the same getup. I was like really confused about that. Like, if you had to say like sexy Han, like that's the costume that you would buy.
She's Han Solo.
I love how the red arm to C-3PO is explained in another comic. Like, that was marketed. Where it's like, find out why C-3PO has a red arm instead of the gold one. Like, what?
I think he has the gold arm back again at the end, too.
I don't remember this one, but the next movie they said, like, he's gonna get his gold arm back. But there's a comic series they market it where it's like, why he lost his arm. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
right, like, I really don't care about 3PO that much.
Like, I don't, but I imagine you definitely don't, you know what I mean?
Right. I would care more if, like, R2 got another antenna.
I'm actually more curious why R2 just doesn't work, you know what I mean? Like, he just is off.
I'm assuming this is just lazy writing.
It's convenient plot writing, because it's like, oh, Master Luke left, and then he just shut off. Like, he's a robot, he can turn it on.
Especially because BB-8 should know R2, and he should know his situation if he's been deactivated since Luke left.
Spoiler alert, aren't their maps, like, compatible? Like, isn't that the whole point of the movie?
The fact that he just, like, wakes up once the plot's convenient for him to do it, like, instead of right now, you would think that he would go, like, oh, you found that other part of the map?
Like, oh,
awesome.
You're back with me within proximity. Now we can turn on, you know what I mean? Like,
right,
I can pair with you. But it's like, after Han dies, like, oh yeah, now I work. Like, fuck you, R2.
Because you can't even say that it's like Luke contacting R2 through the Force, because it's like, R2's not Force sensitive.
No, he's a robot. Like, that doesn't work on robots. That was the problem with Jedis and robots. So, I love this point. It's like how they quickly mention, like, that was our kid. And we had a kid, by the way.
Not only did we have a kid, the kid's also 30 and turned to the dark side, and it's all because of Snoke, but we're not going to tell you about Snoke. And Luke was trying to train him, and Luke fucked up, and it's like, oh my god, you're doing so much exposition in 30 seconds.
Between characters who aren't moving, which is great. I do like that. That's classic Star Wars before the CGI walk and talk bullshit. So it's like a one-on-one conversation, get all the information you need. So it's like a plus or minus right here, because if this was episode 1 style, they'd be walking a fucking hallway.
Mm-hmm. And one of them would have been sitting on some kind of floating thing.
So.
Do you see the stuff about what, these are apparently ashes that he puts the helmet in?
Oh yeah, I read that, like, recently, where it's like his fallen enemies that he just collects and just does that as a fun thing.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
Super fucked up. Like, even Vader didn't do that.
Yeah, it's like, he's this, like, sick emo kid. This is kind of like, I gotta collect
So I love that, like, his nose of the helmet has to move up to take off his mask. Like, it locks into place to his weird-ass real nose. So, like, again, that's something they revealed, like, as the Blu-ray came out, not in the theater for the longest time. So I was like, does he just fucking, like, smoke a lot? Like, why does he have, like, a bucket of ash that he puts his helmet in?
Yeah, it's weird. Do you think that he looks enough like them to be their kid?
Yeah. There was that whole theory with someone fucking did face mapping of his face. One of those hot, like, young Harrison Ford has, like, a bridge nose like that. So it's like Carrie Fisher's eyebrows and then, like, Harrison Ford's, like, weird broken nose structure. They did it. But
Hayden Christensen's hair.
Oh my god, I didn't realize that. It's the like episode 3 hair.
Yeah.
But like, I can't take him serious. I've seen like 2 episodes of Girls, so I'm just like, fuck him. You know what I mean? Like, once you see some actor in a different like setting, you just can't take him serious anymore.
So glad that they didn't let him have that weird ass beard that he usually has, though.
Oh yeah. Oh, that like weird like I'm a grown-up beard.
Yeah, oh man, it's so, like, pervy.
Yeah.
And he's already doing pervy shit, so that would have just been, like, uncomfortable, you know?
But honestly, I respect him as, like, a person because he does a lot of, like, terrible stuff. You know what I mean? Like, if you ever looked at his backstories, like, before he got into acting, he was an active military guy, like, he supported the troops, and he does a lot of community builds and stuff, and he doesn't take himself too serious. I'm like, fuck, like, okay. But then, like, you see girls, and it diminishes it. So, like, any good he does, my mental state is, like, still locked in a different area.
You know what's cool about it is, I was in the Marine Corps as well, and he started a acting fund, or, like, some sort of, like, acting school for Marines when they get out, so they can transition into, the, like, acting world.
Yeah, back to, like, citizen jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah, but mostly, I mean, it's all set up for acting. Like, so they can act and pursue their dreams or whatever. Like, where the fuck was this guy when I got out in 2009? What the hell?
I think he came out, like, 2010, so he can go making girls. So it's like, again, different thing. And it's just, this guy, he does a lot of good things, but because I've seen 3 episodes of Girls, I can't think of anything else.
Oh, it's kind of like the dude that from Oz that won the Oscar.
A couple guys won Oscars from Oz.
Well, no, the guy.
See, now she brings up Vader. That means that she clearly can see back into his brain too.
Right.
So when he was doing that whole thing with Poe, he was obviously like peeking into his brain more so than just torturing him.
Oh yeah. But then she can also do the whole brain rape too, because she saw something too.
Wait, does it put a hole in the theory that if he doesn't know who she is, then he definitely couldn't have left her on that planet?
Kind of. See, that's why I like the whole theory where he's like, I deserted you to be safe as my only last good deed. Sounds honorable in writing, but because he has no idea who she is in this moment, it makes no sense.
He doesn't say anything that indicates that he doesn't know who she is. He says that she's powerful and whatever. And
there's a few like hints at it that he's like unfamiliar with, and that's the problem. It's like if you come from that bloodline of like strong Force users, when your number 2 concern be like you're gonna be like Force vulnerable.
Here's Daniel Craig. For those that didn't know where he popped up in the movie, he's the stormtrooper.
Which is weird to think, because he was filming Spectre at the same time, so he like took a break from Spectre to like do this.
And it's like, knowing that it's him, you can tell with his voice.
I did not know that first time I saw this. What about you, Joe? Did you see this and you're like, Daniel Craig, yeah?
No, not at all. I'm 007, blah, blah, blah.
I don't want to be 007 anymore.
Yeah.
That's what he does in all the movies.
Yeah, basically.
He tries not to be James Bond. That's why the movies are very iffy for me.
Definitely.
Be great if he actually, like, she says, you're going to leave your gun, and he's going to be like, nah, Q said I can't. But the fact that she knows about the mind trick means that she had to have been trained before.
But she's
I'm thinking she's, like, she had to be, like, mind wiped or something. Yeah, like Luke, my theory is Luke dropped her off, not Kylo. And Luke falsely implanted some memories in her to be like, look, it's better if you don't even think that you know who I am.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
You know?
Well, because I was going to say that, like, maybe she was trained young and she's just now remembering it, but, like, yeah, she would have full memory of at least being part of the Jedi.
I also love this scene. It's like the only time stormtroopers are like, we should not follow orders. We should, like, go away.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Oh, by the way, I was gone so long, my mic, I had it muted and forgot, so I was talking to you guys for a while.
So I love they harness the power of, like, Sunny D to, like, fucking power their gun. Because I'm just thinking, like, Neil deGrasse Tyson was just like, no, you cannot do that without burning your surface.
My buddy wouldn't believe me that that's the guy from Iron Man.
What guy from Iron Man?
That's the director of Iron Man.
Jon Favreau's in this?
Oh, that's not Jon Favreau. God damn it. That's the guy from Heroes.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, what?
I'm like, your buddy's right. That's not the guy from
Yeah,
Iron
my
Man.
was right.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like
We've got Neem Num. We've got Matt Parkman from Heroes. We've got the dude who was in Rush Hour.
Yeah. The evil.
And he was also an X-Men. He was in
Quill. He was Quill in X-Men.
Yeah, Quill, in the movie that should not be spoken of ever.
That movie that did not happen.
Oh, they got the guy from The Matrix.
I think Morgan Freeman's in this scene.
I love how Amber Airpark's here. He just doesn't say anything. Oh, wait. Shit. I'm wrong.
It's probably a trap.
I like how people were figuring out the probability of landing on this planet, and everything was conveniently in like one spot.
Yeah.
But I do call bullshit on the idea that they're just kind of like, well, this is a bigger Death Star, and it's like, well, great.
The same plan,
like,
though.
Yeah.
Like that, for the people that criticize the movie for being too much like it, you have to admit that there's some credibility to it. Like, they didn't need to have a Death Star in this one.
But you know what? I love the themes, though. Like, it's George Lucas is one thing, is that, like, something he repeats is, like, if there's similar themes, he will use them. And even J.J. Abrams picked up on it to, like, continue, like, a death planet that shoots a laser, you know? And then an important death. And then, like, introduction of, like, certain character archetypes. Like, it makes sense, and I love it for that.
I guess it makes sense, especially because it's like a space opera and
any opera.
Yeah, they kind
any
of
saga opera will repeat certain patterns.
Yeah,
and like that's why you like it. Some people might be upset, but then years later you might be like agreeable. You know what I mean? Like the people would be like, "Oh yeah, it makes sense now." It's like, go fuck yourself. Like that's why episode 1, 2, and 3, I didn't think of it as like terrible movies, but I just think like the effects ruined it for everyone. That's it. The story wise and plot wise is like it still makes sense. Acting wise, a little different.
Yeah, acting. See, what sucks is like, yeah, I know everybody hates the story, but like I find the story enjoyable. But I mean, obviously some of the scenes and shit. But I'd love to see a fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin. That's fucking killer. That's awesome.
Oh, that was the best part of the new saga. Was like that
and then immediately followed by the worst thing in cinema history.
Well, I mean, you look at this movie, you look at Empire Strikes Back and stuff. Star Wars is always better when Lucas gives him an idea and somebody else does it.
Yeah, good point.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So like if somebody else, would have been able to do it, the prequels, they would have been able to say, yeah, this whole like Jar Jar thing is dumb as fuck. Let's not do it.
But did you? Again, the original Lucas idea was that Jar Jar was secretly like working his way up the ranks to be evil.
Yeah, I love that theory.
I love that theory, and it makes more sense. But because I guess like someone said, okay, change of direction, Lucas was like, all right, let me back off that.
The whole theory that he's it's like a drunken master.
He's like a dark Sith, just like hidden.
Yeah, and he's using like the form of like a drunken master. Like, and if you go back and see the video that's on YouTube, if you guys want to go check it out, it shows like the similarities between like
I don't put any stock in that being real.
I know, but it's great how fucking detail they go into.
Oh yeah, so but I think it's like 4 videos of that or more. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's not a singular theory.
There's a deleted scene that Han checks out the Millennium Falcon. Not Han checks out. Kylo Ren checks out the Millennium Falcon, and it's like, all right, that could have been cool in the movie, Like,
well, like that thing made a huge amount of noise, and then Kylo like senses, but like, wouldn't the planet detect it? Because this planet is filled with like evil guys.
Yeah. Well, wait. So you're saying there's a deleted scene where he goes aboard the Millennium Falcon and kind of like looks around?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been so important to the movie because it makes such a connection with his dad. That's great.
Yeah, because the only time like they actually interact is the bridge, and like that's the only importance.
Yeah, and I like the idea of like him feeling his father's presence and like his, you know what I mean, like his family's presence, and it's somewhere he's like been in since he was a kid, and he's kind of like looking through it. You know what I mean? That builds a connection.
Yeah, it's like going back to your old home.
Yes.
And then you can't tell if he's going to be turning evil or good. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Yeah, because it could be a reminder of him that goes, yeah, you know what? I do still have a family, and
Again,
we skip past this one scene that has a couple of good jokes here. The sanitation thing, which was clearly a reference to the J.J. Abrams, Kevin Smith connection, that they're friends, and they have that whole thing with Clerks about, you know, the stormtroopers know how to install a toilet main. And the whole, that's not how the Force works. Like, it's so good. But here we go with Captain Phasma being just a complete waste.
That can use any computer to turn off a very major component of a whole planet system.
They need to redeem that character in the next one. Like she needs to hunt FN 2187.
She needs to like burn a village down personally, like just to make up for her bad assness. Because she's a captain of a whole legion. You know, like how is she the rank of captain? She gets captured pretty easily.
Well, I mean, I guess you can look at it from the point of view is she stays alive, I guess, right? So maybe that's how she became captain. It's just by like being, fuck it, I won't shoot. Like, I'm not gonna fight.
That's true.
Which they need to explain how she survives too, because the planet explodes.
Well, I think they did that because she killed the best character in Game of Thrones.
Still, I've never seen a single episode of Game of Thrones.
Wow, and your best friend does a whole show about it. That's... Speaking of which, anybody here, Game of Thrones starts, make sure you check out Mike Payton's podcast.
Also, make sure to check out the static on Stallman's end.
You shaving on this thing?
No.
It'd be so great if Finn would have just pulled the trigger right then.
Yeah.
Just, there is a trash compactor, but on the second thought, bang!
I heard they ripped off his arm because they caught him masturbating again.
Yeah.
Chewie does it. He's like used to ripping off arms.
Chewie couldn't reach the remote, so he ripped off C-3PO's arm. And like reached out and grabbed it.
So there's one thing I've always had a question about, was that like this planet construction had to take years to do, right? Like that. Yeah. No one had any questions about this. You know what I mean? Like no one was like, yeah, like that's cool.
Yeah, whatever happened to the other rest of the whole planet?
Yeah.
Like
a galaxy destroyer weapon planet that just showed up.
Yeah, there's a new.
Did they ever say
planet
what
in
the
our solar
planet
system, guys?
Did they ever say what the planet was?
No.
Because they don't tell you, like, if it used to be Hoth or it used to be whatever. But it kind of seems like the amount of time and effort and money and resources that you would do into building this, just like hire more troops.
Well, like, who's financing this army?
Right. Because they don't have the funds from the Empire anymore.
Yeah, this is the New Order. They're not the Empire. So it's like,
they actually have a really good knitting business. The stormtroopers in their off time knit T-shirts.
Yeah, man, armies cost money.
Yeah. Is my mic still staticky?
It seems like it's when you move around, probably.
Alright, I won't move.
You're gonna have to do the Kylo Ren Force Frozen thing.
Yeah, I love this. Why are you doing that?
So this is like one window off of how many that just sees this, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
None of the other stormtroopers are like, yeah, you know that girl you're looking for? She's kind of like hanging off the side of this one section of the ship.
The girl that's wearing just robes.
Nah, I'm looking at her right now through my window. Yeah, I know I'm in the shitter right now, but I can totally see her.
Aww.
Touch her head.
Yeah, touch her face.
See, they're hitting too much out of romance between them, though. They gotta get together.
But, like, so they did that with Leia and Luke, so who knows?
Yeah, well, these two aren't going to be brother and sister.
Hey.
Although, you know what? If they never said who Finn's parents were. If they said that Finn's father was Luke, I'd be up for it. I'd be like, all right, cool. He's going to be a Jedi because he's going to be Finn Skywalker.
That makes sense.
But that's totally not happening.
There was
and for the record, his dad's totally not going to be Lando either.
Well, there was a lot of racist comments saying Lando. I'm like, ugh, that's a little too convenient.
Yeah, it'd be like, the one other black guy in the whole
It
galaxy.
could be
like...
Mace Windu's.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just the only other black guy, but they seem to. Star Wars seems to keep everything pretty close, like the characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everyone's kind of a descendant.
Yeah.
Tell you what, though, if they did say that he was Lando's kid, I wouldn't be pissed.
It makes sense.
Because it would mean that Lando would come back in the next one, and I want Lando back.
Well, he's also petitioning to come back, because he's just like, hey, they didn't call me.
Yeah. Well, it could be Mace Windu's great-great-grandkid or something.
Yeah, Billy D. Williams is not in anything the last, few years, so give him a job.
He did dance.
You know what they need to do? They need to make it so Lando is one of the people in, the Senate. Because they need to establish more about the Senate in this one, the episode 8.
Senate.
No, they need at least one scene where Leia can talk to Lando, and it can be about how this is what the Republic just got crippled from the Hosnian attack. I'm trying to do my best to be one of the main senators, and Leia, you're trying to do the military thing, and also I've got a kid named Finn. This is the last time that Han and Chewie talk.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah, it's
spoilers.
Which it's kind of nice that the last time they talked to each other is him going, be careful, buddy.
Oh yeah, I guess that's nice.
Or he's like, I love you.
Chewie goes, or no, he goes, I love you, Chewie. And he just goes, I know.
I figured out this technique from Finn. Let me scratch behind your head. Once again, that theme is just not good enough. The bum, 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 bum.
It's not iconic. It really is.
Also, yeah, they don't do it enough, and it's just I don't know.
It sounds
it's too basic.
Yeah, it sounds like bridging music, where they want to introduce another song besides this is his theme. I definitely don't know this is his theme. Now you point it out, I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is 2-second sounds of a trumpet.
Wah 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 wah.
It's very somebody was working on a Star Wars thing that they couldn't get John Williams, and they tried to be as close to John Williams as they could.
It is, yes.
The music in Star Wars Rebels is it's close enough to Star Wars, but you could tell it's not full on John Williams. Right. And it's dude, you gave us the Throne Room Force theme, you gave us the Imperial March, you gave us Duel of the Fates. And this is the best you could do for Kylo Ren.
Did he do Indiana Jones music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did E.T., he did Jaws, he did, Maybe
they did that on purpose. Maybe they want the second one to have the cool music or something like that. Maybe they didn't want it to be super close. I can't imagine it overlooking something that big,
Who else had chills during this part? Because I was looking at this going
I did. Yeah.
I kind of knew what was
he's
going
so
on.
dead.
I saw Chewie's face and I was like, oh fuck.
Well, even just the idea that he yells out Ben.
Yeah.
To me was awesome. It was oh my god, they named him after Kenobi. That's so cool.
All I know is a bridge without a fucking handrail. I was like, that's not good.
Yeah, who the hell designed this shit? They spent all this money building the planet, but they didn't have another extra little bit of cash left over for a handrail.
Yeah.
Well,
this is just it's happening. Yeah. You're
it's
oh, man,
he's so far away. There's nothing that can happen.
This is a 2-foot wide bridge. This is really terrible. Who designed this?
Also, I think he baited him into this, because why was he going that way?
You think he knew Force-wise to draw him out?
Yeah, I think that was the whole point. Because why would you go all the way out there like that? There's nothing out there.
Dude, this Death Star planet is bizarre. It's just designed weird.
Yeah.
He is such a pansy in this scene, though. So I destroyed him. He's totally dead.
I love
even though he's me,
dude.
Yeah, but the dialogue could be a little bit refined because he was more badass in the torture scene than this.
Well, I like the character as being this petulant little pansy kid.
He's the dark version of Luke Skywalker. Luke was a whiny kid, but he was good, and he's a whiny kid. This is what a bad kid would look like. A whiny fucking bitch.
The same as Anakin.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Anakin done right, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, if they had to do it again.
Look at his eyes. He's crying. He's tearing up. It's great.
But he reminds me, and this is a good thing about it too. He reminds me of that type of kid that's like this emo goth kid who goes like, I'm totally badass. Yes. And the reason why he does that is because his parents are getting a divorce and he needs to separate his like emotions behind it. So he puts up this wall. Like the fact that he goes, he was weak and I destroyed him. It's like, yeah, dude, that's like so much talk and no game. He doesn't deliver
it like powerful. Like there's no timing in it.
Nah. It's the same as like if some dude's online and he calls himself like Death Slayer, and it's like, dude, you can get beaten up by like a 6-year-old girl. Shut up.
I think that's
funny enough, he gets beaten up by a little girl in this one. It's
the universal balancer.
But this is his Darth Vader moment of the whole I can't kill my son. This is like I could totally kill my dad.
Right.
Check it out, Dad. I built this.
Watch closely. Do you see the saber go through him? I don't.
Like, if this was real life, though, Han would be like, dude, you're not, like, letting it go.
Yeah. Let it go, Ben.
You gotta let it go. Ben! He always has to shout, Ben.
Give me back my lightsaber.
I think there's a struggle, and that's what this is. Like,
okay, it went through.
It definitely went through.
There's no debate. He's fucking dead. Finn said that this would be a good idea to do.
Let me touch your
right
face
now. Yeah, exactly.
I honestly think I want him to be like trying to get as powerful and strong as he can to finally like wipe out whatever he needs, the evil, whatever he needs to do, and that's why he's doing all this.
So you subscribe to the theory that he's a double agent?
Yeah, but I don't think anybody else knows but him. So like I want that to be true because I want there to be that big of a good juicy twist that we're all going to remember forever, right? But I just don't think the writing's going to be good enough.
Let's see, at the end there, he has a reaction of like, you can either read into it as, oh man, I'm so glad that I just killed my dad and I feel better now, or holy fuck, I just killed my dad.
There's no time to literally enjoy it because this happens.
Yeah, and that right there, again, we mentioned it earlier, they set up this thing, blows people away, and he just takes it.
So that's the thing too, is like, you guys see the like, I've seen this meme out where it's like, it shows Chewie and,
the little kid.
Yeah, and he's like playing with
that's amazing.
It's a quick comic where like Chewie reflects about his time with Ben.
Yes, like
he had to know Ben. Like,
that's my best friend from when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like I took care of that kid or whatever. So he doesn't end up shooting him in the head; he shoots him in the stomach.
Yeah, that's so good. Whoever made that up, great job.
Yeah, for sure.
Just the idea of like, oh my god, you killed my best friend, but you're my best friend's kid, and I can't kill you, but I gotta shoot you, buddy. Like,
I gotta shoot you for like the justice, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, it changes his roar from either saying like he could have been screaming Han, but he also could have been screaming Ben, like, you know what I mean? What did you do, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the problem with this movie, the series, is that like alien speak is always like lost to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no subtitles for Chewie,
which is good. But for a moment like that, I'd like to know what he said.
You killed my adopted dad. That was my real dad.
Yeah, well, that was my uncle. Yeah, well, I want to kill your uncle. Yeah, well, my dad's Lando, so shut the both up. Both of you, shut up.
Hey, what do you think about this thing that, like, so we may look at him like a spoiled brat, or like, you know what I mean, we may not feed into it, but like, we're also 28, I'm 29, we're all about the same age, but like, when this movie originally came out back in the day, when we first watched it, you know, we never probably didn't notice that Luke was a whiny bitch right off the bat because we were kids, so that's normal.
Yeah, I didn't really notice how whiny he was because I was kind of like, yeah, let him do what he wants.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we were kids, we're just kind of like, Luke's a badass, and then we were kind of like, yeah, Luke's kind of a little fuck.
Yeah, and also these guys look super young to me, but whereas like for a kid, they probably look like adults. It's that
he looked like he was 50 to me.
Yeah.
So again, for a guy who's never held a lightsaber, like this is the second time doing things with a lightsaber for Finn, right? Not bad. That fights against a veteran Jedi.
Yeah. Now, like that veteran dude he is dying, but it's like He's put up a damn good fight, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, he's cheating with his, like, other laser, but...
Well, I think that was probably the biggest reason why they showed that whole fight scene with the stormtrooper and the stick thing, was to show that there is hand-to-hand combat, and so Finn would be trained.
Yeah, some
right?
training. So she knows how to use things. Not great, because, you know, that's only like a minute-long fight, but...
Yeah.
How bad is that, though? Like, I wouldn't expect in this type of movie that we would have seen somebody get their back sliced up like that. Like,
oh, which is great. I like it.
Now, I'm not one of the people, but I know a lot of people thought when that was flying away that Luke was going to pick it up.
Yeah.
I assumed that it was Rey, and I don't know why a lot of people thought Luke, but...
Well, because they saw that scene with the hand, so they thought Luke shows up to help for whatever reason. But I'm like, Luke's kind of a dick during this whole movie. He just does not help this cause at all.
You know what they missed out on? Before this movie happened, the one thing that I was like, oh man, this totally should happen, is I wanted Han to sacrifice himself, but in order to save Luke, I wanted Luke to have like a vision and go, Han, you gotta trust me, dude, you gotta die.
Oh,
and for him to go, that's 3 you owe me, Junior.
Oh, that would
have been so good.
Oh yeah, that's a great line. Wow.
Better dialogue scene.
We're establishing here I need to write episode 8, right?
Yeah, basically.
That's what happened. But then again, you know, like, that kind
There's
of...
also a sex scene in episode 8 where I bang Daisy Ridley, so...
All right, now you're pushing it.
I don't know where it breaks the fourth wall.
It could be a deleted scene as long as we film it.
As long as it happens.
Yeah. It's canon somewhere.
Yeah.
Tony Mango bangs Rey.
You know, it's actually not that bad of an idea that you just came up with, is like shooting scenes that you wish you could have seen in the new Star Wars and just animate it.
Yeah, but I can't even draw stick figures, so...
Hey, you know a guy. We could just do stick figures of what we want to happen.
Here's another Death Star trench, too, like...
Of, like, gearing up a Death Star.
Also, kind of annoyed that Hux didn't yell that line, "Prepare to fire!"
Well, he's calm. Like, Grand Mothma was calm, so... It makes sense that he's, like, the new Grand Mothma.
You mean Grand Moff Tarkin?
That's it.
Mon Mothma was the chick who pops up in the trailer for Rogue One.
Well, Chris, you just got out nerd.
I did.
Yeah.
It's really, I don't want to count that.
Well, actually, let me push up my glasses.
Yeah, that's
here.
basically what just happened.
Yup. Good old Pillsbury Grand Mothma.
So, a whole planet, right? Remember, this is a whole planet. One station controls the gun.
Yeah.
I think this is the same set as the other place that they were on with the bar and everything, right? It's covered in snow.
Yeah.
Kind of seems like it, doesn't it?
The same mountain region, there's trees.
Some of that's green screen. Like, some of his is green screen, you can tell.
Some quick insert reshots that they did.
Yeah.
Like that.
Say, I wish I knew more girls quotes so I could say that during this fight.
Yeah. See, she's good enough with a lightsaber, but not great. So again, I'm thinking that she had the her mind wiped, and she was just kind of remembering bits and pieces.
Because she didn't get cut like Finn did. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like a brutal swinging sword thing. So this part's weird. This part's like out of place for me. Because she just like goes to sleep, and it's like, that's not what you want to do.
Well, this could be her remembering more of it. You know?
Also, it could be him giving her a second. Like, maybe she's gonna decide to join him.
Yeah, this is not the face of I'm gonna join you. You know what I mean? Like, this is not that kind of look.
Is something said right there that we missed? Like, does someone speak to her when she closes her eyes?
No one says
anything. Does she hear that badass Luke Skywalker music, just like we do?
Yeah. Here's the flute, and she's like, yep.
Yeah. In her head, she's like, dun, 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 dun.
And she's like, oh, I guess I'm a good guy now.
Yeah.
But her fighting skill is way better than his now for some strange reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's tapping into that old training and stuff.
you got to think she lived by herself, so she's got to be a scrapper, right?
Right, she's a scrapping person, but like she's holding him down.
Well, if you're a person that's like can scrap in a fight.
Well, plus he got shot in the.
But that's stance right
side,
there.
And he got stabbed in both arms.
That's true.
Now he's got a good old
scar.
Darth Vader scar.
Yeah.
Her stance right there, though. I mean, she's definitely got training. Like she just like did the wipe and then went straight back with like leg back, right?
Yeah, she had like that's sword training. That's something you just don't naturally do.
Yeah.
That would be great if there was a line right here where she's like, "It's over, Kylo. I've got the high ground."
I mean, if I were her, I would just throw the lightsaber at him. You know, like saber throwing.
Yeah.
To finish the job.
Just force throw him into the chasm. Just be like, that's it. That dude's got the right idea, dude. Even fucking Hux left. I'm out.
Yeah.
Supreme Leader Snoke. Yeah, like discount Palpatine.
Yeah, it's very discount because it's conveniently explaining, like, go find Kylo Ren because I know he's alive. It's like, how do you know? You know, like, they don't even show Kylo Ren's recovery. Like, no ship goes to get him. That's the only way to know that, like, oh, no, that's over.
Now, I knew that Han totally was going to die in this movie. Like, there's a guarantee.
Well, do you remember that scene was, like, thought that was Chewie or Han in that body pose?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that they were going to kill off Chewie, too.
Yeah, I thought it was...
Because Chewie without Han is like, what? Like...
I think either somebody's definitely going to die in the next episode, but I think in part 3... And I think this is the best way to do it, and probably the best, like, closing to, like, an ending of anything, like, a great story would be a lot of people die.
Oh, I mean, like a Game of Thrones, everyone's fucking dead kind of thing.
Yeah, not just that, though, but just, you know what I mean? Like, it'd be nice to have closure on everybody. Like, Chewie's dead, and Leia died from a heart attack, or from doing so much cocaine, or whatever.
Well,
see, now that Han died in this one, I'm kind of assuming Leia dies in 8 and Luke dies in 9.
Oh, nice.
I think Luke just dies of, like, going to sleep like Yoda did.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get killed. I think he'll pass away in some other kind of means. Or self-sacrifice in some way.
Like Ben Kenobi did, like a shot to the head.
Yeah, just kind of like, I know that I need to die now because it'll be for the better, like the greater good.
I'll be a Force ghost because I'll be like naked ghost, whatever. Because
this part right here is the biggest fucking mistake in like Star Wars history.
The whole you don't hug Chewie thing is
killed me. It killed me in the theater. Like I
question that because she doesn't know who this girl is. She's kind of like, oh, you're a girl. I'm a girl. We should hug.
She walked right past Chewie. Didn't give him a hug. Didn't say anything. Like I'm not saying like movie wise, like like Leia did it on purpose. Or whatever. I'm saying that they missed an opportunity there to get some good tears from the audience.
Yeah, it's a really.
J.J. Abrams even admitted he said I fucked up and I should have done.
Did he really do that?
Yeah, he said it in an interview. He was just like, "Yeah, it's my biggest mistake in the movie. I should have had them like hug each other or something."
Could have been
a full sense. This part's like out of place for me because you're like, wait, who's this person? Like they don't know each other. They never had a conversation.
Unless, again, I'm going to bring it up. Unless she knows now through like the Force that that's her niece.
Ugh.
But it still doesn't explain how fucking R2 wakes up.
What up, bro? Oh, just been sleeping. I hit too much, bro. I've been out for 10 years.
Now, one theory I've heard, and this is just like, I don't put much into it, but the only difference is that that Rey is now in the vicinity of R2.
He doesn't know, like, DNA. You know what I mean? Like, that's not like a droid thing.
Well, some think he's Force sensitive. Like, I've read
he's
that.
He's a robot!
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, is he's a special kind of robot. Like, there's something about him that makes him special. He's not just a random robot.
Okay. That's too deep.
R1-D1 wasn't Force special, but he upgraded.
Oh, are you talking about Nice One Problem?
Oh, is there actually an R1-D1 there?
I think it's H1N1.
I was just making a number joke.
HK something.
Yes. HK47. He's like one of the best characters in all the games.
Yeah, like he's calling everything the meatbag. Okay, so the map shows you what's missing, right?
Right.
All you had to do was just search that one area.
Exactly.
That one area.
Yeah, like shouldn't it have been like 5 separate quadrants that were missing?
Yeah, to make it more confusing, but it's just like all I had to do was not search the ones that are highlighted. Go search that one block.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I'd like
she goes, I really like that you touched me on the forehead. I'm going to kiss you on yours.
This is how we say "I love you" in my language.
But like, I do like how he's not in like a tube or anything. He's just like on a bed.
Yeah.
My friend, friend zone.
He does get friend zoned, but like he'll come back and he'll be like, "Yo, but I saved your life," and she'll be like, "All right, you can hit it."
Tony that's exactly the dialogue that's going to be used as well.
Guarantee.
I like how Leia's gone through like a costume change. This is my grieving clothes. So did she. She's not wearing rags anymore. She's not wearing like a power vest.
Which, it's kind of interesting. She's wearing more gray. And if you look at Luke in A New Hope, he's wearing white. In Empire, he's wearing gray. And in Return of the Jedi, he's wearing black. And in this movie, she's gone from white to gray.
So one more movie, she'll wear black.
She'll have this black outfit on and she'll be all dark and shit.
Here's the thing with the difference between Luke and her as far as like, Luke was so young and like naive that he kind of fell into the dark side. Because I mean, if you think about it, he hadn't done anything bad at all, and he
didn't help out Uncle Ben or Uncle Owen. That was bad.
Yeah, he knew the Blue Harps.
He should have stayed behind at least one more season.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Also, I guess that he's a serial killer because he shoots Tom or wherever the
Womp rats.
Wompers, yeah. But like he just kind of. It's like he was scared, and the fear is what made him a bad guy or whatever. But her, she doesn't have anything like that. If you think about it, she's never had a moment of doubt, really.
She's never left Jakku, apparently, so she's never seen like green and blue.
Right. She's just like a wondrous. She doesn't have anything that's like she's not scared. There's nothing. I don't know. You know
what's kind of funny to think about, and just come across until right now. If she's been on Jakku all this time, she probably assumes water always makes bread come up. So she's probably thinking that these rocks are just like bread that popped up out of the ocean.
Eating a rock.
She's just kind of like, oh man, there's so much bread here. This is like a million portions.
She's like sand. This would freak the fuck her. This is like totally not her territory.
Yeah.
There just happens to be seagulls.
She's like, Chewbacca, this is great. When we see Luke, we can just eat the walls. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm in.
Yeah, it's like the Hansel and Gretel thing.
Yeah.
The
gingerbread
house made out of gingerbread. She thinks that this is an island made out of bread. Also, Luke is very just doesn't give a shit. There's like a thing that pops up in a minute. There's like a pot or something, and it's just like, dude, don't you have like a hut to eat in or something?
It's like the most bare essentials to do this.
Yeah, there you go. That little thing. It's like a little footstool or something. She's a little shit all over the place.
This is one of the earlier scenes that got leaked, like the whole like where they are and like the footage, because this is in Ireland.
Yeah, actually, I remember reading about the pictures, like, oh, Star Wars bought this place and they're gonna shoot there or whatever. I remember seeing pictures for it.
Yep.
It's Skellig Michael Island, I think it's called.
Also, I think he came to this planet just for like a week vacation, and then like his Wi-Fi went out, and fucking he got stuck there, and he's so fat now that he can't because he won't walk.
Stranded.
Yeah, he got stranded. And now he's gonna be like him and Wilson with his hand.
Oh,
Wilson!
See, he's got Morgan Freeman's hand in that.
Also, good point, Tony. He's white right now.
Yeah,
I think he's in white.
Back to like being full on 100% light side.
Yeah.
Also, that's not how you should handle a lightsaber. I feel there should be like a safety handling thing. You held it sideways.
Yeah, everybody knows. Even with like a normal butter knife, you hand them the handle.
Yeah, you don't hand them the blade first.
Exactly.
That's gonna be the episode 8's gonna pick up with this first line of dialogue. Is he's gonna be like, all right, lesson number 1, wrong end.
Don't aim it at people.
I remember.
Lesson number 2, you remind me a whole lot about Padme.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, when you see this, you're like, say something. say something. Like, no!
And then it's like directed by J.J. Abrams. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Mentally, I was like, I liked it, but like, say something, motherfuckers.
Yeah, because you felt like you had like, you're like, oh, come on, now we gotta wait another 4 years or whatever it is.
2 years.
I thought he was going to have one line of dialogue and that would have been it. Like, I was thinking that he was going to have like just one thing where he goes like, all right, like, it's time to begin your training or something like that. Or like,
you return.
Even if he would have just went Ray, then it would have been like, he knows.
Mystical and everything, but because they stare at each other, like, that's all we get.
Or like, how powerful would it have been if he wouldn't have turned around and she would have been standing there and he would have said like, it's about time, Ray, or something like that. And then turned around
that's
and
out of place.
Like that he knew that it was even like, even by not turning around, he knew that it was her presence. You know what I mean?
Well, they don't have to give away anything now, because now it's like everybody wants to know.
Well, I mean, like, he didn't pull a Yoda for pretending not to be Luke, you know, like, or like hiding, because Luke, like, Yoda did that. He was a dick, like, when he gets introduced.
Do you think that they're gonna let him kind of like go back and forth between dark and light, and when he does, he'll change his voice?
Who?
Luke.
Luke?
Yeah, because he does the voice to the Joker, and he does other voiceover stuff, and he's good at like crazy voice.
Nah, I think he's just flat out awesome light side Luke.
I think he's gonna be pure Luke. He's not gonna have that like dark tendencies.
I do think that we're gonna see the Force ghosts of Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Anakin, though. And I think that he's got to talk to her and be like...
Think about Anakin wouldn't Anakin go to like Ben and be like, hey, like, it doesn't work. Like, don't be a dark guy all the time.
That's hopefully what happens. Maybe maybe it's that whole dichotomy thing. Like, that would be cool if it was like...
explaining about a torn Anakin post-death is way more interesting than what we got of like him talking to a burnt helmet.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize Han Solo got top billing.
Yeah, that was
Hamill, which is kind of shitty.
And I can't believe Mark Hamill gets second if he doesn't have a goddamn line.
No line, just stares.
Look how far up Tito is, so... Kieran Shaw. Tito gets more of a credit than Captain Cypress.
Our patrons get a higher build than like everyone below here. Yeah, BB-8. Brian Herring and Dave. Okay, I think that's just the voices: Bill Hader, Ben Schwartz.
Yeah,
Kenny Baker's credited as R2D2 consultant. The hell are you consulting about?
Well, you know,
I think he should have said beep here.
Yeah. R2 wouldn't say that.
He did spend like 9 years in that like tin can, so I mean, he needs a paycheck somewhere.
Yeah, I think it was definitely one of those like, let's throw him a couple bucks.
So, when you guys first saw this movie, what was your immediate reaction at the end of it? Did you guys love it, or did you hate it, or?
I loved it. I don't think it was like something I had to see like 5 times. Like a lot of people were telling like second viewing, third viewing, fourth viewings. Like people were bragging how many times they're seeing this in a short amount of time.
Well, I went to see it at it was practically like a midnight show, and then I went 10 o'clock the next morning.
I thought it was good. I didn't have. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, it was a great experience, and I enjoyed, especially if you saw it opening night. If you're listening to this commentary and you are you've never been to an opening night. Well, no, if you've never been to an opening night, make sure you go to the next ones because there's nothing else like it. It's just the experience of having a whole crowd.
It's so much better when you do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No one talks during.
No one does that. No one does that third night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and no one talks during scenes and stuff. You just cheer during parts you're supposed to cheer, or laugh when Darth Vader says no. But I really enjoyed it. But I didn't have that factor of like when I saw Dark Knight in the theater for the first time, like I had to go back and see that shit again. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. Now, when I saw it the first time, it was just, late night show, all the fans, opening night kind of a thing, and we're all just kind of like all getting giddy over little things. Yeah. And the second time I saw it, there were kids there because it was 10 in the morning, so, the kids could kind of like go out then instead of 11 o'clock show or whatever. And I thought it was hilarious that it was like the difference between the two of them. Like, first viewing, we're seeing Kylo Ren and people are like, dude, he looks like a badass. second viewing, the kids are getting afraid of Kylo Ren, and it's like that's gonna burn like something into their brain for the rest of their lives that they're gonna remember being afraid of Kylo Ren.
Which is great.
Meanwhile, we're sitting there going, "Pussy."
Yeah, Vader killed his own staff pretty fast. Kylo Ren just kind of like harasses them. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't do as much of damage to his crew.
Also, it's jarring to see how, especially with torture, and then him cutting up Finn, and then himself getting cut up. Like that's a lot of like visual stuff that kids will see. Because like I brought my kids to see it, and like you're right, they were scared of it. They were like afraid during those scenes or whatever. So like yeah, I think they'd be afraid of him, right? He'll be as cool as Darth Vader, maybe.
Yeah, he'll be comparable. But in like when they'll when I learn more about Vader, I think Vader still wins over that like badassness.
Yeah.
You know, it's
that was a lot because especially during that time period, everyone like Darth Vader was just this new thing, and like latched on to popular culture, and it's been referenced since. Whereas Kylo Ren is kind of either already died down, like no one even talks about.
Kylo Ren is like a weird hybrid of like the times and then Vader. But he's not. He's whiny. He's way more whiny, and then we talked about how like he's that opposite of Luke, where he's still whiny, but he's also dark.
Yes.
And for us, it doesn't make sense. We want a guy who's competent but not whiny. So maybe in the next movie when he's not complaining, he's like, "Yeah, I killed my dad. That was his one weakness left. You know, like that was his last. His like salvageable redemption." So.
Snoke does say that he's going to complete his training, so he should be better in the next one.
I like your reference, Chris, to the like how Anakin was like he was one way, but then now like we have a good actor now, like
it's like
it should have been.
It's really bad because Hayden Christensen can act, you know, like if he understands the role and he had some time, but because he was like young and they had to pump out the movies and he had no time to like practice.
Well,
and the dialogue that Lucas wrote was garbage. Like, I don't like sand. You're more beautiful than I think because you're so beautiful.
I hate sand. It gets everywhere. Like, he sounds like a weird young Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, good point, actually.
Which, thank God Nicolas Cage was not cast as Kylo Ren.
Oh, jeez. Put down the funny.
Can you imagine if this was actually like a direct sequel and Nicolas Cage was still like a top billed actor like that, where like they can put him in a Star Wars movie? Oh God!
I do want to see him in a Star Wars movie.
No,
but he has to play the type of character that he would play. Like he has to be some weird ass alien.
He can't be human. He has to be like a space alien where Nicolas Cage.
No, I don't want to anywhere near this movie. What are you talking about?
Well,
stop it!
They put in a guy.
You're opening a box.
They put in a guy from Heroes. They put in a guy from like an X-Men movie. They put in like two guys from X-Men movies, so he can have a cameo.
Not Nick.
Like imagine if he would have played Sebulba.
He's the worst.
Would have been fantastic.
He's the best of the worst.
Oh no, it's just bad. This is bad.
Okay, I got a perfect idea here. He plays like take that Rathtar scene, do like a similar thing in Episode 8, but have it be bees.
Oh my
like
God.
space bees, and he can be the one that like he can be from Conja Club because he can bring them back too.
Conja Club.
I'm here from Conja Club and space bees. Not the space bees.
It works.
No,
it's exactly
I need to go back to Conja Club
for like a dumb scene that doesn't fit in with the rest of the movie.
Right. Hell, make that another deleted scene. It can come right after the sex scene between me and Daisy Ridley.
Call back.
So this is, I think, the 5th time I've seen this movie now, and it hasn't lost any like steam yet. Like I'm not looking at this movie as like, well, the first time I saw it, I was really wowed. The second time, it kind of sucked. The third time, it's like I'm still enjoying the hell out of the movie.
I'm gonna be honest,
it's still
the first time I saw this movie, I went to the Cheesecake Factory and I had like their happy hour, and then I saw this movie. So I was riding on like nachos and beer. So this was like, okay, I can watch it again. So like it still holds up. It's a way better movie than any of the episodes 1 to 3. 1 to 2. 3 still has a moment with me. You know what I mean? Like there's some power there.
I still say this is better than Return of the Jedi.
Ooh.
Like overall as a movie, there's some scenes in Return of the Jedi that are just so good that it beats anything in this movie.
You take out the Ewoks, then yes, but there is no opening that is Return of the Jedi. Like
Return
there's just the first 20 minutes of that movie are just amazing to me.
Yeah, man. It's hard to top Return of Jedi. Return of Jedi is the champion of getting kids into it and having it be like a redemption series.
Yes.
You know what I mean? A lot of people say 2, but that's more to be more mature about it, about whole ending on a sour note, ending on a more mature thing where it's depressing. The 3 is really where the family a closure. You mean it comes full circle at that point.
Well, and also I like to fall asleep to movies, and a lot of times I fall asleep to Star Wars. I could fall asleep to Return of the Jedi a billion times, or A New Hope, but I can't do it to Empire Strikes Back because there's too much just action at the beginning.
Yep.
And so this movie, if you guys want to know my sleep schedule, this movie just not very good for it's not quiet enough. There's too much action.
It's not a white noise movie.
Yes, it's not. It's I have to sit down and watch, and I gotta admit, it has lost some steam for me.
So you know what, the Bad Robot thing is popping up right now. That reminds me of something that we actually didn't talk about, which, I mean, the movie's ending, and if people are like, oh, the commentary's over or whatever, we have another minute. But it reminds me of something that we didn't bring up that really kind of confused me at first, was when I was seeing this movie, it was jarring to not hear that 20th Century Fox thing at the beginning. We didn't have that.
Oh,
I think the VHS copies had that because that's who snagged the rights. It was back when CBS and Fox had that weird deal, so that's why we're used to that for our childhood. Because I think the original version didn't have that.
Well, even the prequels, they had them.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So it was just kind of I guess I've never noticed that on this.
I never really noticed that.
Oh, and I totally noticed. I was like, if they don't, they can't have that ahead of time. But if they play that Disney, When You Wish Upon a Star, if they have that on there, it's gonna really throw me off.
That okay.
That is that. No, they didn't do that because that would have put people in a really weird mood where you just start thinking nostalgia, Disney cartoons.
Right. You start thinking about Lion King instead.
They did have some kind of Disney symbol up, or at least the word Disney, right?
Well, they had that Lucasfilm.
Lucasfilm,
all silent.
That's the actual company they own now, so they can do that. Like how Marvel does that page flip thing. That's still Disney, but it's the Marvel mockier.
That's a good thing, by the way.
No, super good. It's how you separate branding. Even though, if you know business, it's Disney, but you kind of get into that mood.
Right. They have a good porn channel too.
Well,
have you heard of it? It's Disney, but it's
You have kids. You shouldn't be talking about that.
I have kids, so I'm not allowed to watch porn?
No, it's over.
You gotta wait see how much more you masturbate.
Now you gotta wait for one of them to turn evil. That's the point.
Exactly, so they can shoot me on a bridge.
All right. I just think that I need to hook up with that company to do that Daisy Ridley scene. Yes. But yeah, I mean, this movie, like I said, I've watched it a couple times now. I'm sure I'm gonna watch it many, many more times. I'm sure I'm gonna revisit it again before episode 8 comes out, and who knows? Maybe we're gonna do another commentary before that. If you guys really, really like this, make sure to leave your comments below. Tell us what you think about it, and give us a thumbs up and subscribe, of course, if you haven't done that already. And if you want to see us do a take 2, where we've got a little bit more time that we can process things and, more information comes out. Because, hell, even if we would have done this a couple days ago, we wouldn't have had some of the things we talked about.
Yeah.
And, when Rogue One comes out later on this year, we'll try to figure out some Star Wars stuff to go along with that. And I also want to do more commentaries in general, if you guys are into this. So we got Captain America Civil War coming up. Could try to do the 2 Captain America films. We got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out, so we could end up doing at least the other one of those, if not the good movies, and some other things like that.
So just throwing this out there, maybe we could do the Star Wars franchise.
We could do all the other ones too. Yeah, we got 6 other Star Wars movies.
We could do Lord of the Rings. That's 15 hours worth of.
Oh fuck that! I'm not doing that. I'll outsource the FanTracks for that one.
For sure.
I'm watching those again. I've seen enough walking.
Oh. This is great.
So the last thing for us to do, though, is to just tell you guys some other things to check out, some promotional stuff. Chris, anything you want to put out there for people to follow you or anything?
Yeah, you could find my writings in Mischief at everythingaction.com. And you can check out our Twitter at everythingevaction.com or Twitter /evaction.
Stallman, anything you want to put out there? Other than your machine gun chair that's happening?
Yeah, I know. If you're in the Austin area, if you're near Texas, you can come to Cold Town Theater. I do live shows Wednesdays at 10, in the Cold Town Cage Match, and then also I open for Bad Boys on Fridays, for all of April. And also, if you're in the Austin area and actually listening to this, try to contact me. I'll give you free tickets, to the shows. And, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Joe Stallman. And that's it for me. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining me for this, and thank you all for listening. So, for this episode of the FanTracks, I guess that's about it. Time for us to geek out.